everyone, and welcome to a Tinfoil Wednesday. How's everyone doing? I hope you're having a wonderful week so far. I'm sorry I missed yesterday. I was terribly swollen, as I posted about on the Discord. My electrolysis went okay, but when I got home, my neck swole up and I looked like Robert Zadar. I discussed this. It's still kind of swollen. It's not all the way down, so I'm a little swollen, but like it was red. And I could feel my heartbeat in my neck. It wasn't fun. But anyway, that's chilled out a bit, so welcome to Tinfoil Wednesday to make up for the lost Tinfoil Tuesday. How's everyone doing? Hope you're doing well. If you're on YouTube, do me a favor and like the stream. I'd appreciate it. Let's see what else. If you want to help support the stream, you can always gift memberships, become a member on YouTube, gift subscriptions, or subscribe on Twitch. Always helpful. We did reach our tip goal if you missed that. I've been working on my medbed video the last week, so pretty happy about that so far. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we can get into it. We are going to play Tinfoil Bingo today, so if you'd like to do that, make sure you get your card. And I think we can just jump into it, shall we? Did I miss anything in chat? I don't think so. Cool beans. So we can just go. Alright. Let's see what we're going to cover first. Ooh, let's see what Roger's been up to. Did the hair dryer reduce the swelling? You know, I didn't try. Maybe if I got one of those plasma balls, it would have fixed it.
Okay, my friends, this is gonna be a hoot.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, Phoenix. You're doing all right, though. It's okay. We don't hate you.
Anybody alive, do you think, that doesn't know about the Sphinx?
Probably.
It's in Egypt, the Sphinx. I doubt that there is too many people that don't know. If you said, what about the Sphinx? I think
a lot of people would recognize it, but I think you're overstating the amount of people that would recognize the name the Sphinx. Like, maybe it's just because I have a pretty low view of people at the moment, but, yeah, fewer than you'd think.
they would understand what you were talking about.
Roger first and not CC. It's not Tuesday after all. There's no CC today. He didn't post anything new for us.
Does anybody really understand the Sphinx? And the answer is no. Let's look at what the Sphinx really is and what we can determine from material evidence. Not, oh, they must have been this, they must have been that. No. Let's look at the material evidence.
Does he understand that, like, archaeology is studying material evidence and, like, the history we have of the people and doing, like, comparative study of these things and going, what we know about based on their culture and this physical evidence? Like, it's not just making shit up. Once again, a crackpot who fundamentally does not understand the domain he thinks he is upending. Jay's a proxy. Thanks for a 225 stream streak, says in pain, but these streams help me get through it. 775 to go. Indeed. Has CC been posting a lot less lately? He has, but he goes through phases like that, so.
Chemistry, anatomy.
Congrats, Amber, on your year HRT anniversary. Hell yeah.
Physiology. And then I go to the ancient texts. But I need something to support those ancient texts. And I have found all those things. And I mean right across the board. These ancient texts are not to be dismissed, my friends, and I will show you why.
Ancient wisdom on the bingo card, pretty obviously. He always cuts in the weirdest place.
To be dismissed, my friends, and I will show you why.
Like, you could have cut right there. If anything, he shouldn't have started moving yet. If you were filming this, you'd want to, like, pause for a second to give you room for the cut. But no, he just immediately starts moving to turn off the camera, and he just lets the end of the shot be the end of the scene. Nearest Crowhill, thanks for 47 months, says, hope you're feeling better and having a good day, Hannah. Also, I'm getting married this Sunday. Any advice? Congrats on the marriage. Just have fun. Just have fun. Remember it.
This is a pretty good shot right here. This is where the hole in his head was. It was just a hole there. And if you follow it down...
The evidence is he drew a circle. There you go.
It hits here. Now, this is the nasal cavity right here. This is not the nasal cavity. That, I believe, is a shaft, and I believe this in here is where the arrowhead was tied on here. It looks like to me.
Oh, he thinks it was a giant arrow? That'd be a big arrow.
I don't know. I've had other people say the same thing. They say, yeah, you know, we agree that it certainly looks like that, and it certainly does.
It looks like a hole. You can't just look at this hole and go, yep, that was a giant arrowhead.
Now, the
Thinks evidence is self-evident on the bingo card.
hole comes right down from the top. Now, in the ancient text, it says Hercules shot all of them, or every one of the giants with arrows. That's all I can say.
Giants on the bingo card. Apparently he thinks the legend of Hercules is real. Good to know. Steve with the Q, thanks for 56 months.
Okay, so he's talking about the academics are studying this stuff, but they really don't study everything. They sort of hide out from certain things. But he just probably with an academic...
They don't study the nonsense I post on YouTube. Can they even be real scientists if they don't listen to my inane ramblings? Fake science.
Feels there are
many no-go areas of study, although hard work and research within permitted areas has taught us a great deal about the previous 4,000 years of the...
What is this, 1993 and 2002? This thing, what does that mean?
site's inhabitants. Yet regardless of the most astute academic thesis, there remains three proverbial...
Amber says, our boyfriend's sacred text said Odin killed the giants with his unerring spear Gungnir. Wait, Gungnir. There you go. Maybe they're the same character. Have you thought about that? Syncretism says they're the same character. My light went out. Give me a sec. I haven't had a chance to order the new one yet. Come on. Come on. I believe in you. Electricity, go. Come on. Yeah. Oh, if I get electrocuted off screen, it's going to be so funny. I did it. Bumble Homestead, thanks for gifting a sub and kicking off a hype train 93% to level 1.
Large elephants in the room. When it comes to a full or even a mere fraction of an explanation in regard...
Oh, this is like a bullshit video too. The title of the video he's watching is Proof the Sphinx is 500,000 years old. It's not. Homo sapiens are only 200,000 years old. It literally could not be older than that.
...regards to the origin of these seemingly impossibly huge pyramids remains patiently absent. No accounts, illustrations of any kind from the era exists. It is simply illogical, especially when one considers the sheer feat these structures must have been. We have presented many previous features, polygonal masonry being present on the pyramid.
You see these? You see the bumps on these? See the bumps? It's the same as they have down in Peru. I know what these bumps are. And these were, I'll tell you...
Are you literally just pointing out that the rock faces aren't smooth on the outside? My understanding is that when they were originally built, the pyramids did have quite smooth sides. It's just that over time, they've deteriorated. Some of the material's been stolen over millennia. Like, it didn't look like this when it was built, for the record. Thinks it looks the same as it did thousands of years ago. That's funny. Fenekagami says, Roger, the ancient text specifically says that the Sphinx is a different creature from the giants. It's not even killed. You beat it by answering a riddle. And the answer to the riddle is man. It's a little narcissistic of us to write the most famous riddle ever, and the answer's us, but whatever.
Tell you later what they are.
And Amber says, what? Egyptian history is extremely well documented. We know how they built them, why, and when. Alded Undying says, bits for the bits god. Also, I got my new TV setup done. Nice.
Pyramids. Eroded, yet younger casing stones protecting inner megaliths, clearly of a tremendous age. salt sediment found encrusting the lower chambers, and so on, suggesting not only that the pyramids are much older than currently claimed, but were pre-flood ruins.
Oh, they're talking about a global flood like it's a real event. Well, there you go. That's total horseshit.
Absolutely, 100%. I agree with them. They were pre-flood, yes. And that's why they were pretty easily constructed. There was giants here on Earth, and nobody can possibly believe how big they were. To them, this is like Tinker Toys. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. And then they were wiped out in the flood. They were pre-flood giants.
Why were they wiped out? Couldn't they just stand up and be over the water? Because they're giants. If they're that big, would their head not still be over the water? How deep is the water? Jitara says, sending the hype train into the fourth dimension, we needed the supply route to wrap up the campaign. And Altered Undying says, I demand level 2, and level 2, you shall have 6% to level 2 on the hype train.
Thus, questions arise. Just how old are the Great Pyramids? In addition to our study
No,
of the...
I don't think this is a mud flood thing. I think this is just a Noah's flood thing, or an Epic of Gilgamesh flood thing. I could be wrong, though. Tea Time Tea, thanks for gifting 5 Tier 1 subs. Thank you very much. Overthought, thanks for gifting a sub. I appreciate the generosity.
Pyramids. We have also, in the past, asserted that the Sphinx was originally a lion, which, interestingly, correlates to the following hypothesis with
It's like the Sphinx is a mythical creature. It's like a mix of a variety of things. It has like the body of a lion, the head of a man. I don't remember all the other things. Does it have a tail made out of a snake, or am I thinking of something else? That might be a different thing. But it's like a mythical creature.
fascinating accuracy. The Orion theory. The coincidence with pyramids aligned with Orion's belt and other significant constellational positions. Bauval and Hancock.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but the stars were something that our ancestors looked at a lot. They used them as like calendars and signs of the seasons and stuff like that, because of like the cyclical nature of the Earth going around the sun and stuff. Every year, the stars will be in like roughly the same position, and you can make observations about that. Looking at the stars is a huge part of like early human culture, and we used them for practical purposes. They had great cultural significance to many, many people for good reason.
Support the theory. Well,
all right, this I don't necessarily know anything about this, so I don't go with that. But this part back here, pre-flood, yes, they were pre-flood creatures. Pre-flood, they built these pyramids. The Earth is literally made of bodies of giant creatures. The Baalbek stones.
What did the giants start on? Were they just floating in space until enough of them died to form like a corpse ball, and then the rest started going towards the corpse ball? Like, when you wind this back, it doesn't make a ton of sense. This makes less sense than Elder Scrolls lore.
Absolutely gigantically enormous. But with these...
CE Glass 48 says the Sphinx is a mythical creature in its final iteration, but there are indicators it was altered from an original form that might have been a lion alone. I see. I hate reboots.
Flood creatures that were the giants that had to be removed from the Earth. They were big enough that 2 or 3 of them could have picked one of those stones up, or maybe even one of them. It depends. Enoch said they were 2 miles tall, taller than that. So you take it for what you know, and I don't discount any of those early texts. They removed them from all the mainstream texts, just like they would remove all my stuff, like they remove Velikovsky's stuff, because it was too much for the average human mind to absorb. It was just...
I find it funny that he thinks that the concept of giants is too much for people to, deal with, a concept that exists in many human cultures. Like, people are aware of the concept of giants. They exist throughout folklore and throughout, like, pop culture, through stories and narratives. Like, it's not that crazy of a thing. It would not break people's brains to find out giants existed. Don't get me wrong, it would break, like, the square cube law, but, like, that's about it. I don't think people would, like, go blitheringly mad if they found that out. Altered Undying says, Odin's father's corpse is the world. We are the maggots. I wonder if that myth is where he gets it from. I don't know.
It's too spectacular, too much. Oh, it scares the...
Nemesaur, thank you for gifting 20 tier 1 subs. You are always just out here being so generous and helping the stream. Thank you very much, Nemesaur. Appreciate ya.
hell out of people. And it does. I'm not saying it's not scary. I'm not saying it's not insane. But if something is what it is what it is. And it is what it is.
Just how old are the Great Pyramids?
This I don't know.
In addition to our study of the pyramids, we have also, in the past, asserted that the Sphinx was originally a lion.
Originally a lion, yes. And they opened up the back end of this thing, and they climbed in there, and it was...
They climbed into the Sphinx's ass? It's pretty cool. Stone Corbell, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs.
Literally,
58% to level 7 on a hype train. Thank you, everyone, for so many gift subs today.
Either a vagina, or it was a...
Well...
It was literally, it was either a vagina, or it was a rectum. One or the other.
I forgot for a second that he thinks that these things are the corpses. So he doesn't think they just went into the back of a relic of, like, an old building. He literally thinks they went into an anus or vagina. Okay.
There's no difference, basically, with the look of them. And they went through there, and I could see there's virtually no question. Now, the other thing is, as I have claimed, the arrowhead through the head...
I have a riddle for you, human. What's wet but doesn't need to be dried? Wink.
Was the...
It's a bad riddle. That's a bad riddle. I'd make a terrible Sphinx.
Signature of Hercules when they wiped out the giants. Now, Sphinx, I would say, was a giant. It was pretty big. Okay.
That's a pretty good evidence. I'd say the Sphinx was a giant. Look at it. It's pretty big. It's a pretty big thing.
Hey, I'm going to show you something. It's just as what it is what it is. This is the Apollodorus Library, which was all of the books written primarily by Hesiod at the direction of the daughters of Zeus. And he glorified the gods and all of the history. So you had the birth of Zeus, the war of the Titans,
Are we mixing Greek and Egyptian mythology now? He thinks it's all true. He thinks all, like, religion is true to some extent.
Gods. These are all the books he wrote. Apollo, Artemis, Demeter, and Persephone, the war of the giants and Typhon, which we're going to look at in a second. Then there was Prometheus, Deucalion. Deucalion was Noah. And the daughters of
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
So sons of all these...
So there's some, like, Jewish mythology and early Christian mythology, because Christians, you know, take the Jewish stuff.
Different Jason and the Argonauts and all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
And on, and then Hercules and the wars of Hercules, and then all of this stuff goes on and on and on and on. All of these books he wrote on the Trojan Wars and all that stuff. Now, listen to this. We're going to go to 1.6.2, all right? So, well, 1.6.1 talks about the earth being vexed on account of the Titans, and they brought forth the giants. And let's just get to the meat of the matter. Everybody's killing everybody. I mean, just nothing but slaughter.
Human history. We did it.
And Porphyry and
Is Roger mumbling and slurring words more than usual? He might just be getting older. Like, he's been doing this for decades at this point.
Hercules and Hera.
A minute left in the hype train.
And Zeus inspired him with lust for Hera, and he tore her robes, and he would have forced her to have sex. Zeus smote him with a thunderbolt. Hercules shot him dead with an arrow. Hercules shot every one of them dead with arrows. That's why I say he shot the Sphinx. Now listen to this.
I find it funny that, like, even within his own logic, that's specious reasoning. Like let's say you even imagined all these stories were real. They're not, but, like, from his perspective, imagine they are. And you go, well, Hercules shot stuff with arrows, so that means this particular giant that was killed with an arrow must have been Hercules. Like, that doesn't track. What? Just because some things were killed by Hercules with arrows doesn't mean everything killed by arrows is inherently killed by Hercules. That doesn't track.
They're talking about everybody's killing everybody, and at the very end it says the other giants, Zeus, who was the god, smote. He killed them all and destroyed with thunderbolts, and all of them Hercules shot with arrows.
Thank you for the hype train, everyone. And Harold Ebelman, thanks for a 3-stream streak.
As they were dying, all of the giants Hercules shot with arrows as they were dying. And then Earth had intercourse with Tartarus and brought forth Typhon, which is the dragon in the desert. And it explains him exactly correct. This red flared eye, his head often brushed the stars. It's exactly what he was, and he is there.
You can tell because of the way it is.
Whoops. Never mind. I'm not going to bother showing. I've shown 100,000, literally hundreds of times. And he is in the desert. And he was on the maps of some of these ancient things. And the stories here are just stunning, stunning. But I'm going to show you, it looks to me like the Sphinx got an arrow right through his head. You see that? It's on both sides of the neck. The red and the blue, that's the vein and the artery. And they go straight up both sides of the neck. Okay, my friends, extreme shocker du jour. I'm going to be going over the Sphinx, and I want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. And
he must have edited this in, because this is a more recent video. So he must have edited in, like, a video from Thanksgiving. Here's the Sphinx's hole, if you're curious.
When a guy pooped, what does it look like? And here's what it looked like. Standing here. I mean, that's what it is.
I just didn't think it was fair for Roger to tease us with the Sphinx hole and not show us, so.
Natural or unnatural? I'd say that's natural. And when a guy pooped, that's okay. Either that, or it could be a vagina. I don't know.
I don't know if you know this, but they're quite visually distinct typically.
But it's definitely some kind of an anatomical cavity that enters in here.
Hey man, a hole's a hole.
And has both of those features possible. It could be an anal cavity, or it could be a vaginal cavity. But
I love how he says vaginal as vaginal.
But it's coming right through the butt of the Sphinx. Now, I'm going to show you a couple other shots that just show that the Sphinx head is different than the body. So this...
Bodies and heads are often
I
different.
don't know anything about, but the head, I'm pretty sure got shot through the head with an arrow, because that's what it says in the ancient text. Hercules killed all the giants. It says all the giants he shot with arrows.
No, I didn't regret that.
Now, Sphinx's head is a pretty good-sized giant. This is before they did anything to this thing. Now, you can obviously see that the head is a completely different color, basically, than the body.
I mean, in this photo, it looks kind of like it's in its own shadow. Like, it looks like the sun is on the other side, and the head from the side they're taking the picture of is in its kind of shadow of the head. So from this picture, I cannot tell that. That's a shadow. And I don't know if he knows that. Like, it's fairness. The Sphinx head very well might be made of different material than the body. I don't know, but I'm just saying I can't tell that from this picture alone.
Now, I don't know what that's all about. I believe they put this head on here, and when we look carefully...
I mean, they did put the head on there. It's a statue. Yeah, they put the head on.
You can see where...
Apply directly to the Sphinx. Head on. Apply directly to the Sphinx.
They just plastered it in, basically. But I can also see the anatomy that shows there's almost no question whatsoever. This head was alive at one time. It came from something, I don't know what, how they moved it over here, but they had giants.
So they put a this is the ancient civilization equivalent to the Fiji mermaid? Was there a giant P.T. Barnum ushering people to the egress? What the fuck? What do you mean? They put a different giant's head on this body? What if it's just a statue, Roger? What if it's just like a building they built that you can go inside a little bit, but mostly it's a statue? I think that's the heuristics I'm working with tell me probably fucking a statue. Just saying.
Giants. So this looks like it was put there as an honorary piece, you know, after the end of the giant era, because Hercules killed all the giants. This is what the text wrote. And then
also he says the text. To be clear, the story of like Hercules and Greek and Roman myths were like oral traditions for quite a while. There's not a definitive version like the Bible, and even then there's not really a definitive version of the Bible. As soon as I said that, I was like, wait a minute, sectarian conflict. You know what I mean.
Gaia, who is Mother Earth, who the giants were her children basically, and she had sex with Tartarus and brought forth Typhon, who is the dragon in the desert, and he attacked the gods, and he got Ares, which was the fish, in the desert, and then they both are laying there dead. I don't know. Now, this, I'm going to show you the anatomical details. It literally proves that head was at one time a living creature's head. And if you can argue with that, you get your doctor. You get.
Can I have a question? Is the thing that's like here a hat, like a really bad headgear choice, or did they just have like the worst fucking haircut in history? I need to know for science.
Your anatomy.
I really need to know so I can know if I can mock the Sphinx.
You get your biologist. Let's talk. Okay, get your anatomist.
All right. I think we probably watched enough of this video. We get it. Let's move on. Let's take a look at the bingo card real quick, because I know we got a few bingo spaces from that. Ancient Wisdom, of course. I know we had incorrectly believes evidence is self-evident. Was there anything else? Anything? Anyone? Bueller? Oh yeah, giants, duh. Giants on the bingo card, where did I put that space at? I wish I knew where everything was. You'd think I would? Feel like it's in this zone. There's clones, giants, okay. We don't have syncretism on the bingo card, surprisingly enough. Okay. Okay, let's watch this stupid shit. So a lot of conspiracy theorists have seen the Elon Trump feud thing, and I know that Elon has already come out from his K-hole and decided to apologize or whatever. But you know, these are videos from when it was at the height of the conflict, when Elon was like telling people Trump is on the Epstein list and stuff. Conspiracy theorists are having a hard time understanding this and reconciling it. So they've all decided it must be theater. Fun fact, it's not theater. They're just narcissistic man-children who have the most power of anyone in the world. I know that's scary, but well, it just is what it is. There's not a secret plan. They're not playing 5D chess. They're genuine narcissists who are incapable of working with other narcissists. Or other people, but you know, narcissists tend to butt heads.
Many are aware of the so-called feud between Donald Trump.
Is that the I Dream of Jeannie theme? Yes.
Trump and Elon Musk. This is something I predicted way back in February.
Hey, hot take. It didn't take a lot to predict that two people who always feel the need to act like they're the smartest person in the room didn't get along for long term. We all knew that was going to happen.
16th to be exact, in a video presentation that's currently on my channel. Let's take a closer look here. As you can see, from February 16th, where Elon Musk's son, X, as he's named, tells Donald Trump, "You're not president." Let's get to the clip from my video, again from back in February. And I believe this is all done to set up at some future point where Elon Musk and Donald Trump are going to have some type of beef in the future. We'll see what happens. And these are the headlines from today. As you can see, the latest on the feud between Trump and Musk. And there's definitely a lot to cover. And specifically with Trump saying he's not interested in talking with Elon Musk. And the really huge aspect here is where Elon Musk states Donald Trump should be impeached. And there are some files regarding an individual from years ago. And this is an official tweet from Elon Musk. I should mention, people need to be very careful what they share online and in videos because there's a lot of fakery taking place.
Hypocrisy on the bingo card. This conspiracy theorist spreads fake bullshit all the time. So definitely hypocrisy on the bingo card.
With fake tweets. And this one is real from Elon Musk's official page. Check and verify everything you share. But this one tweet here, again from Elon Musk, talking about...
A flat earther is saying this to you. A flat earther is telling you to check your sources.
About a certain individual in the files.
Oh, I didn't explain this, by the way. Normally I would wear the tinfoil horns, but they broke. I put these on today and they broke again. This time the whole band snapped. So I put on the cat ears because the cat ears were the next, the cat outfit was the runner-up. So sorry. These, broke, I think, for good.
And this is the reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, Donald J. Trump. And take a look here. With more of the same with the headlines, Musk calls for Trump's impeachment. I'm going to show some video clips that's going to blow this out of the water as far as this all being just a fabrication world stage theater. But first off, let's take a listen to Donald Trump here and what he has to say in this recent press conference from the White House.
Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we're well anymore. I was surprised because you were here. Everybody in this room practically was here as we had a wonderful send-off. He said wonderful things about me. You couldn't have nicer. Said the best things. He's worn the hat. Trump was right about everything. And
I try to avoid listening to Trump speak at this point in everything because it's just why hurt yourself like that? Holy shit, he sounds like an idiot every time. He wore the hat. He wore a hat. Why is he behaving this way? He wore my hat. He just rambles like your uncle with dementia. It's fucking crazy.
I am right about the great, big, beautiful bill.
And that's what it comes down to, which this whole entire world stage theater is the big, beautiful bill, which Elon Musk obviously is totally against. Now let's continue on here with more theatrics with Donald Trump and the whole entire aspect of the elections.
Elon endorsed me very strongly. He actually went up and campaigned for me. I think I would have won. Susie would say I would have won Pennsylvania easily anyway.
And here you see Elon Musk's response on X, formerly Twitter. Without me, Trump would have lost the elections. Dem would control the House and the Republicans would be 51 to 49 in the Senate. And this is a follow-up from Elon Musk. Such ingratitude. And let's continue on here. And here's Donald Trump and his post from Truth Social that Elon Musk responded to. The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it.
It's almost like he wasn't behaving politically at things that he shouldn't be. Crazy.
Again, here is
Thanks,
Elon
Holy
Musk
Input.
in his response. In the light of the president's statement about cancellation of my government contracts, SpaceX will begin decommissioning its Dragon spacecraft immediately.
By the way, can I talk about something that I noticed about this whole thing that I found really interesting? Consistently in the conversation around Trump and Elon's spat, I heard people referring to them as, wow, they're arguing like teenage girls, or like, oh, cat fight, or like, oh, the girls are fighting again. Can we talk about this? What the fuck is wrong with people? Literally, we have two of the most powerful men in human history, and we're still finding ways to frame their shortcomings as a woman thing? I don't know if anyone else has noticed that. I don't know if anyone else has noticed, like, no, you are disowning this behavior from masculinity when it is a very testosterone-coded interaction, as I put it on Reddit, I think. They're not behaving like teenage girls. They're acting like raging, narcissistic men, right? And that's not a thing I'm putting on all men. I'm just saying, to say that this behavior is exclusively the domain of women is sexist, is what I'm saying. And I've seen it described that way. So, can we stop that? Could we knock it off? I'd appreciate it. Thanks. Holy Input, thanks for gifting a sub. Appreciate ya.
You mean the spacecraft that never goes into space? Give me a break. And there was a follow-up underneath the thread where this individual named Alaska on Twitter, or X, stated, "This is a shame, this back and forth. You are both better than this. Cool off and take a
They were not better than this.
step back for a couple days." And Elon Musk states, "Good advice. Okay, we won't decommission Dragon." But of course, this is part of the script. Let's continue on here with this
Again, no, they're just assholes.
press conference from the White House with Elon Musk leaving as he's, of course, heading Doge. And you can see here, doing the Masonic hand sign, the diamond
Spurious symbology is evidence on the bingo card.
sign, which is 33 numerology, and obviously the black eye
Numerology on the bingo card.
symbolism. And you see here Doge with the hat, the Department of Government Efficiency. And of course, dog or God backwards in the E or 3 in reverse.
It's literally based on a meme. It's based on Dogecoin. That's it. It's a joke. Because Elon's humor is perpetually stuck in like the early 2000 Can I Has Cheeseburger memes. It's really embarrassing.
And the so-called black eye. And this is something I've covered in the past with all these celebrities, as you see here, with the black eye symbolism.
Hey, fun fact, people get black eyes sometimes because we have eyes. And there's a lot of sensitive stuff around there, so if you get hit in that area, get a lot of bruising. That's all a black eye is.
And this is something they partake in with the higher-ups when it comes to the Freemasons. This is just
Freemasons on the bingo card.
ritualistic, saying they're part of the club. And obviously, Elon Musk, a very large player on the world stage. And that gets into an aspect with Elon Musk and Donald Trump that doesn't make sense whatsoever. And you're going to see a huge contradiction by Donald Trump himself during this press conference. And it's going to expose this as being nothing more than theater, as I mentioned earlier. Let's get right to it.
Well, I wanted to ask quickly, Mr. Musk, what is your eye okay? What happened to your eye? I noticed there was a bruise there.
Well, it wasn't. I wasn't anywhere near France, so.
Benekagami says misogynists when two alpha men get into an argument. Why are they acting like bitchy women? Because, dumbass, that's what alpha behavior is. It feels impressive when they're alone in the chair, but when it engages with the world, it looks like children throwing a tantrum.
I didn't notice his
First Lady of France.
We'll stop right there. You're going to hear Donald Trump say,
A little weird that he didn't notice it. I will say that. Do you not look at people's faces? Like, I try to not look people in the eye because it makes me uncomfortable directly looking at people. I imagine it's off-putting to other people, and I feel bad about it, but I can't. It makes me feel uncomfortable to look at people. But I'll glance at them enough to, like, see what they look like, I would notice someone with a black eye.
I didn't notice it, and that's a huge aspect I'm going to get into. Let's continue on.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, no, I was just horsing around with little X, and I said, go ahead, punch me in the face, and he did. Turns out even a 5-year-old punching you in the face actually does.
That was X that did it?
Yeah.
X could do it. If you knew X, he could do it.
X gonna give it to you.
On right now.
People have probably made that joke.
But I didn't really feel much at the time, and then I guess it bruises up. But I was just horsing around with the kids.
I didn't notice it, actually.
You just heard Donald Trump say, I didn't notice it actually. Let's continue on here. This is huge.
You saw a man who was very happy when he stood behind the Oval Desk, and even with the black eye.
The Resolute desk? It's the Oval Office. It's the Resolute desk. Fuck me. I haven't even worked at that desk, and I know what it's called.
I said, you want a little
Good
makeup?
God.
We'll get you a little makeup. But he said, no, I don't think so, which is interesting.
What's interesting is Donald Trump says he's offered Elon Musk makeup, but you heard him state himself in this clip that he didn't know that Elon Musk had the black eye. I'm going to play that again.
Sure, he was lying at either one point or the other. He's Donald Trump. He makes shit up all the time. I don't even know if he has a stable view of reality. Like, I don't know if he's intentionally lying about that. I just think his frame of reference is constantly shifting and reality is very fluid for him. Or at least his perception of reality is.
For reference, let's take a listen one more time.
X could do it. If you knew X, he
I
could
saw
do
his
it.
mom right now.
CE Glass 48 says, pharmacist here, it should be noted that ketamine chronic use can lead to hematologic changes, including anemia, which could make him more vulnerable to bruising. Random fun fact. I wonder if Elon's ever done ketamine. That's a joke. We're all aware of the ketamine thing. Allegedly.
But I didn't really feel much at the time, and then I guess it bruises up. But I was just horsing around with the kids.
I didn't notice it, actually.
So again, a huge contradiction in this world stage theater.
Whoa, Trump saying one thing and then saying another thing at another point? He never does that. It must be a conspiracy.
Where Donald Trump claims that he offered him makeup to cover the black eye, when Donald Trump states clearly that he didn't know that Elon Musk had the black eye. Let's play that one last time.
You saw a man who was very happy when he stood behind the Oval Desk, and even with the black eye. I said, you want a little makeup? We'll get you a little makeup. But he said, no, I don't think so, which is interesting.
And that gets into this clip as well, with Elon Musk acting bizarre. And this is part of the world.
That's the drugs, allegedly.
World stage theater as well.
Like, he's high on drugs.
Well, make no mistake about it. This is meant to be seen, meant to happen to create more controversy.
The role,
with this.
yeah, this thing. Don't fall into the K-hole! Jesse Oak, thanks for the $5 super chat, says, to no one's surprise, Donald Trump legit has dementia, Alzheimer's, according to doctors who know such things. I mean, I think people making casual observation can see that he's, like, mentally deteriorated over the past 8 years. Minimum.
Weird, bizarre behavior. Again, this is nothing more than an act. And this is nothing more than world stage theater. And we'll see where this all leads with Donald Trump and Elon Musk in the whole entire debacle. World stage theater. We'll see how this plays out once again with Elon Musk stating Donald Trump should be impeached. Will Donald Trump somehow...
I am curious, because Elon already, like, realized, I guess, that he needs to be sycophantic to Trump, and he apologized on Twitter. I'm wondering if there's going to be a cycle where he gets, like, high on ketamine again, allegedly, and, like, has another freak out. I don't know. He might just leave it at this, but I don't know. It was a fun couple days while they were fighting.
Be removed and replaced. Only time will tell. We will see. Whatever happens, just know it's part of the world stage.
Okay, moving on. Hmm. Hmm. Alright, let's try this. This is Decoding the Super Bowl. Now, this is old. This is 4 months old. But I didn't want to not watch this because it looked amazing. So we have in the top left the conspiracy theorist we've covered before who's into, like, Arthurian lore, but also a lot of other, like, energy healing bullshit. And just frankly, how do I put this? No one in this video looks like they're very familiar with sports. I could be wrong. I'm not familiar with sports, but I don't get big sports vibes from any of these people. And I just thought it'd be funny to see them try and decode the Super Bowl, so let's check it out.
Namaste, Galactic Family. Welcome back
Namaste, Galactic Family.
to the channel Indigo Angel. Come on into this dimension and come on into a Super Bowl pre-time, pre-energy discussion with my lovely roundtable and my beautiful divine sisters. And we're excited to step into this roundtable essentially and, you know, go through all of these pre-game energies with you guys because we've been getting a lot of transmission.
No, that's not what I'm saying, Carpcosian. Plenty of women like sports. I'm saying that the stereotypes I'm vibing on of these particular women don't seem like they like sports, which is definitely better. Chitara says, lately some news cycles keep bringing up Trump's ailing physical health, diapers, a catheter, possible leg braces, stumbling on stairs, his age generally, of course. The Chudge refused to believe that he isn't some virile, eternal youthful stud of a man. I've said this before, whenever Trump dies, because he's an older guy, you know, maybe he'll live another 20 years, maybe he won't, maybe he'll die of old age next week. Who knows? No matter what, the conspiracy world and the right-wing world is going to explode with so many conspiracies, even though, again, he is an old, unhealthy person whose favorite food is McDonald's. Obviously, he's probably not in great health. He certainly has access to the best healthcare in the world, but even that can only do so much against, like, decades of, like, destroying your body. So I do wonder what they're gonna do. I don't think it's gonna be very good. A lot of them have built their identities around this man, so that's gonna be interesting.
The last couple days, we've been getting a lot of energy hits, even this morning, and psychic visions and downloads. And we've been, even just to the point of coming to meet with you guys for this live, we have been feeling an intensity of energy stir up and kick up. We have been seeing the Schumann resonance spike up and rise in the grids as well. It's just recently and currently influxing.
They'll say he's still secretly the president 10 years after his death. I think 10 is being optimistic. There are people now who think JFK, not JFK Jr., JFK is secretly the real vice president. So yeah, we can have word salad on the bingo card.
And so energy is definitely starting to expand. And so there is a lot for us to.
If that happens, I doubt any Republicans will be able to piggyback off the cult he's built. That's my hope. Like, that's really the make or break moment for what the rest of the century looks like, is can any Republicans successfully wrangle the devout followers of Donald Trump and get them on their side, or is it going to fracture back into sort of like sectarian conflict within Republican like spaces? I don't know. I hope no one can really wrangle them all up, but you never know. You know Donald Trump Jr. is gonna try. You know he's gonna try. Fenekagami says, Vance is likely to be public enemy number 1 for at least half of MAGA, as a lot of them will blame him for Trump passing. True, probably true.
To really get into, there's a lot for us to dive into.
Eric would not succeed. Don Jr. has a chance. I haven't really heard Barron speak, and that would be, he's not old enough to be the president, so that would be at least probably 12 years away. I think he got to be 35 minimum to be the president, I think.
And we're going to bring forward some of the esoteric things that we have found, but we're also going to probably be just giving you a lot of our psychic intuition hits and downloads of what we're just genuinely seeing and feeling when it comes to this, and what's kind of coming through for us. So we're so excited that you guys are here. We really want to encourage you to join.
There's no heir apparent yet. That can change quickly, but right now there's no one waiting in the wings that's ready to go. That fucked Stalin's regime. So,
join us in the discussion, and you can do that by subscribing to the channel for at least 60 seconds, so that way you can get into the live chat and you can have this discussion with us. You can put everything down in the comments and let us know what you guys are thinking and feeling, and kind of roll along with us through this, because there's so many angles, there's so many synchronicities, there's so much numerological
numerological. I know numerological's a real word, but she said it like numero, like the Spanish for number. Numerological.
Station and alignment with
hey Queen Pib, how's it going?
This event that's really starting here, I think, in about 30 minutes, and the kickoff to Super Bowl 59 is set to start at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. So
sports.
We're coming in right before, all of this is about to happen. This year's game is going to take place at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans, home of the Saints. And it's going to be featuring the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles, something that I truly and genuinely know nothing about, because this is foreign for me. I
want to point out, even though you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, I called that shit. She doesn't know shit about football. Now, in fairness, neither do I, but you'd probably be able to tell that by looking at me. So, what did we learn here? Nothing good.
Really watch a lot of the football games and things like this. Really, I think one of the main reasons that most people are tuning in is because they're going to be watching for Elon's commercials. I mean, I saw some charts, you guys, where...
What?
It showed the number of people that were coming for Kansas City Chiefs, the number of people that were coming for the Eagles, and the majority of the people were coming for, what's going to be aired on these commercials. I guess these are going to be pretty enlightening in terms of what's going on with Doge and the USAID. As we know, that spending and all of that has been a little crazy.
Oh my god, these people just listen to propaganda and believe it. Holy fucking shit. It's wild listening to just clearly talking points that they have heard, but there's no substance. Oh god. Fennikagami says it'll be interesting what happens to the tech oligarchs who back Vance like Peter Thiel. I would think that for the faction who'd hate Vance, they would also hate the oligarchs, but that's up in the air. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen.
And we're also going to talk a little bit about the halftime show, and how this, as we know from past Super Bowls, and that there's been a lot of satanic ritual abuse, and we know how they're utilizing that symbolism, and we really feel and think
we know it. Epistemology is dead. We know this thing.
That this Super Bowl, that it's really going to be about making a mockery of Christ himself, because they're...
Yeah, I'm sure the NFL has no bigger goal than to mock Christ. I'm sure that making money is real low on their totem pole. Satanism is their number one goal, as we all know.
The guest is Kendrick Lamar, and I guess he has some pretty satanic music and things like this. So we're going to kind of get into all of this. Just have you guys know, we did set a huge intention and a huge prayer coming into this roundtable tonight with you guys, as...
Yes, satanic on the bingo card.
We really want to bring in the Christ consciousness, the Christ light, and the Christ protection around this event, because we do feel that, this is kind of like we're going to be walking a tightrope the rest of the evening, just making sure that our country is safe, that the sitting president is safe, that, everybody at the Super Bowl essentially is going to be safe. So
I should explain that these people think that they are star seeds. They think that they're part alien, and they think that they have psychic powers, and they also believe that they use these psychic powers to save people. So, you know, in a situation like this, they might be like, oh, we need to use our psychic abilities to make sure that people are safe, and go like, pew, 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 and then nothing happens, because nothing was going to happen, and then they go, we did it. We saved the day. It's the Lisa Simpson rock that gets rid of bears, if anyone knows what I'm talking about. Bumble Homestead says, I didn't know prayers came in sizes. Huge prayer. I need an XXL prayer, please.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in with us tonight. And we'll start just with a brief introduction so everyone can say hello, just starting with myself, and we'll go around. And you guys know me. I'm Indigo Angel. I usually go by Indy. I'm down here in Pensacola, Florida, and I have been picking up on more trifurcation Stargate energy that's starting to activate in Sarasota Stargate 2 and Bermuda Triangle Stargate 3 connecting to Charleston. So
who decided the numbering? I feel like Bermuda Triangle should get Stargate number 1. I've never seen the Stargate show, and we're just putting it out there. I feel like that's important. Where's number 1?
there's a lot of activity over here down in Florida right now. The grids are calling in a lot of guardian souls and a lot of guardian consciousness around this area. A lot of people are starting to get called down to come work on Stargate 2 because the rescue team is getting activated. So we might talk a little bit about that tonight, and I'm just happy to be here with you all. So thank you.
Well, hi, everyone. I'm Ani, or you can call me Ani Sophine. I'm with on Quantum Messages at Ani Sophine, and that's my podcast. And I live in Ashland, Oregon, which is about 1 hour north.
Can we ban podcasts? I think the most destructive force in the last 30 years has been podcasts. So if we could get a time machine and go and kill Steve Jobs in the 90s, I think it'd probably be for the best. Just a thought.
Of Mount Shasta, and Mount Shasta is another super portal Stargate spot that Indy has talked about before, and she needs a lot of support and help right now. She's, in California, so she's receiving a lot of negative energy from certain other spots around the planet, and we need to make sure that we help her out. I just have one recommendation for tonight's podcast that we're going to be doing live. If you have any sage with you or any candle, I would bring it with you while we're talking about some of these very deep topics.
I'm sorry, is your podcast going to summon demons? So you need to bring sage for safety. I'm just going to put it out there. If you think demons exist and you're summoning them with your podcast, maybe you shouldn't do a podcast. Like, if I thought that, every time I did a stream, there was the potential that I was, unleashing a serial killer into someone's house, I'd probably stop streaming. Probably. I do have bills to pay. It would take a while for the serial killer to get through everyone, probably. But, on principle, I should probably stop. Anyway.
Just so you can sage yourself while we bring up certain images and potential frequencies into this. We want to make sure that we really cleanse our systems. And like Indy said, bring in Christ and Sophia's triple white light while we're having these discussions. Thanks so much, everyone.
And hi, aloha tribe. I am just here. Actually, it's interesting that Sister Ani brought that in because I was plugging in my good frequencies to pipe out into the world. So feel free to tune into that too.
Bumble Homestead says, do not worry, my little dog will get his Achilles tendon. Nice.
I'm excited to be here with the ladies tonight.
I'm immediately concerned by this person. Nothing she said so far was, bad. It's just crunchy bullshit. But it makes me cringe, because I've never met someone with this personality that wasn't also into all sorts of awful shit. Really bad takes on autism and vaccines, and So I think I'm cringing because of that. You can be unique. You can be your little weird hippie star child bullshit. Just all the stuff that comes along with it. Do you need to hurt people to feel special? Just wear your stupid fucking flower crown. Look, I wear stupid hats, but I don't have to hurt anyone to do it.
Always bring in the fire in a good way. And, this is a topic that we need to discuss. So many people are feeling these interesting energies. I'm using the word.
Christian Jones says, you didn't know your stream summoned Freddy Krueger? Are they that bad that they're putting you to sleep? Woof.
Interesting.
The aloha is concerning. I'm gonna, well, it's possible she lives in Hawaii. She could be a resident of Hawaii. She could be a Howley. I don't know. I don't know. It's definitely like,
very loosely there. And so I'm just here filled with prayer, filled with God's love, and just connected into Mother Earth so we can bring that energy into the space and, yeah, do what we need to do tonight to really counterbalance whatever black magic we got going on over there. So lots of love to you all. Can't wait to see where this goes.
Hi, I'm Missy, and I'm so happy to be hanging with my sisters again. I just love doing these lives for you guys, and I'm still on the Florida grids. I actually came back from a cruise this week. I went on the Margaritaville cruise out of the port.
I don't know if anyone else is a theme park or entertainment person. I enjoy those topics as a special interest. The Margaritaville cruises are some of the cheapest cruises in the country. And there's nothing wrong with that, but let me tell you, it's not a cruise to go on if you don't want to be trashed the whole time. It's basically a cruise you do when you just want a cheap cruise with lots of booze.
To Palm Beach, and I was gone in the Bahamas
just for boozing. Yeah.
Bahamas for 4 days, and I'm wearing my Bahamas t-shirt with the turtles, and I've got my braids and my rattle. And I went to Mar-a-Lago yesterday, so that, you know.
Time is a flat circle.
This place is activated. I'm telling you, there's so much activation going on that temporarily I'm feeling.
Someone needs to study how, and I think this was probably intentional on the parts of, like, how do I put this? Certain like special interest groups, they really made a concerted effort to go out and court like crunchy mom types into right-wing fascists, and it's been very successful. I just want to put that out there. If you're not familiar, over the last like 5 to 7 years, there's been a very concerted effort in online spaces to court these kind of people into the far right, and it's been very successful, unfortunately. So, yeah.
Feeling that Stargate 2 has actually moved to Mar-a-Lago, and that could be talked about another time. Another interesting thing is I was meditating on this 59th.
We got 59 concurrent viewers right now, just to throw that in there. 59 viewers.
Wow.
Okay.
Woo! The last Super Bowl I ever decoded live was actually February 3rd of 2013, and it was in New Orleans, the same place, and Beyonce was playing. I watched the halftime show. I wanted to see it live, and I was in our RV in Western North Carolina when we were living in Fletcher, and I remember it was making me sick, and the power actually went out when she was performing. And that was the last time I ever watched a decode live. I might look up some of the highlights on YouTube, but I never will watch any of those things live. And there's so much synchronicity. First of all, let me give you some of the weather pieces. Remember, New Orleans had 10 inches of snow. Last year, Hurricane Beryl went through that area. We had Helene go through that area. And it was just recently we got the intel that the cathedral network of Siesta Key, Stargate 2, Sarasota is kind of having some problems. It's not having problems on the Bahamas side. It's having problems in that Western as everything is being reconfigured into the Gulf of America.
I bet they have fun lives. Like, don't get me wrong, I think they're awful and engaging in abject delusion and probably pushing other people in their lives away from them through it. But, like, probably fun to think that you're like a world savior and you have all this insight about a secret unseen world. Like, it's absolute bullshit. None of it's true. They are wasting their lives. But as far as they're concerned, it's very real and they're very special. Must feel good to be them. Unstable Deadbeat, thanks for a 3-stream streak, says 3 streams, let's go! Excessive Observer, thanks for 61 months.
America, you know, there's like even it was coming to me
what is the lady in the bottom right doing? I can't even tell what that weird thing in her hand
yesterday
is.
that even the Christics fight amongst themselves because they see things from a different perspective. So our intention and what we're praying for is that everybody really sees the truth of who our common enemy really is. This is really important, that the truth be unveiled and the mind control be lifted. I mean, there's even some more synchronicity.
My retirement plan is just to absolutely lose my mind, by the way, so that's good.
The day being...
Try very hard to keep my delusions at bay, but when I retire, I'm just gonna let that shit go. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be beautiful. Complete disassociation.
February 9th, some of those plane crashes, I heard a man decoding that they were on the 29th. And we had one that went into Philadelphia. We've got the Philadelphia Eagles, Golden Eagle grid. The other one, Kansas.
The Philadelphia grid is called the Golden Eagle grid? That's a coincidence.
Arkansas, right? But that's on the Missouri.
She does kind of look like Romana, too.
Line, the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, but it's just kind of weird that with the planes, you know, with Kansas, with Philadelphia, somebody's signaling something. There's definitely some signaling going on here.
There's definitely a lot of
That's called a delusion of reference.
Signaling that's happening. And let's just give a shout out to everyone that's tuning in with us. So we have Ashra Healing and Wellness saying infinite love and blessings, watching from Southwest Florida. Such perfect timing to do live. I would gladly watch this any day over the Satan Bowl. Yes, awesome. Well, we're happy that you're here. Jack Carter's here. He says,
Rayline with 40 bits says, I don't think it was hard. New Age religions that a lot of crunchy moms tend towards have always shared a lot of fascist tendencies at the base. There's a lot of appropriation of religions of others and making them better. Yeah.
Greetings, blessing, beautiful souls. Amanda Shine Your Light, watching from Australia and sending rainbows of harmony. Thank you so much.
Does it fucking mean anything, sending rainbows of harmony?
Of course. So I'll be excited to see you there. Let's...
All right, we can move on from this. I think we get the gist. Ooh, Sasha!
Greetings, friends. Sunday, the 8th of June, in the Babylonian false light matrix.
It takes a lot to wear a vest with no shirt. A lot of what? I don't know, but a lot of something. Look at this man.
Calendar. I'm very happy to have dropped anchor here at a pretty shitty little hotel, I have to confess. It's not the nicest spot, but it's after a number of hours driving today, headed to State College in Pennsylvania, where we'll be pulling up tomorrow. The day after, Tuesday, I will be on stage at 3 p.m. till about 7 p.m. So it'll be about a 4-hour turnaround. I think it's going to be a fairly good turnout. And this is the last date on my Revelations tour across the United States, really proselytizing the new earth, proselytizing pure truth and right action and real simple jive like that.
Please always be afraid of people who claim they have the capital T truth. I promise they don't. It's good to look for truth as much as we can as human beings, but people who claim to have it, you know, not a good look. Usually very delusional people.
In a world best described as...
The search for the truth is about the search, not the truth, you know?
An orchestration of Saturnian chaos roundabout now. Wherever we turn, whichever cardinal point we're indicating, we are in a spin, and it's a vortex, and it's a flux field. It's a vacuum. It's the 0 point. It's the bullseye. It's the target. It's where the true human is forced into, and by true human, of course, I'm referring to myself and my godly audience looking in, and of course my...
Oh, good. At least he's not full of himself. Kodamon with a 25 PLN, I'm not sure what that is, super chat says, hey Han, I have some of my severance, regular video game industry mass layoff stuff as your project reaches beta, and then the publisher ghosts you. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you're able to find a new place to work soon. The way the industry's set up is really fucky, so I'm sorry that it's unstable like that, but thank you very much.
Guests about to come on for this
Doesn't Saturn actually have a hexagonal storm on it? I believe so, and Roger thinks it's a vagina. Roger thinks everything is a vagina, though, or a butthole, so.
But it's about us, and it's about the reckoning that each of us
Polish currency? Okay.
face within the atom seed of self. So if we want to be pulled outside of self into the Putin, Trump, Musk shit show, then that's an option, but it's no more empowering or enlightening than locking yourself in the basement and masturbating.
What? Chitara says, sir, I would say that the obligatory, those are certainly all words, but I'm not even sure if you agree with that.
Enlightening than locking yourself in the basement and masturbating, or even worse.
Do I need to lock myself in the basement?
Doom scrolling TikTok, or even worse, burying your head into Netflix, or even worse, Disney. Don't even start me there. Point being, friends, the reckoning is about the actualization of you and I in the living now, in the geometry of now. And that is the reckoning.
Ooh, the geometry of now. Terrence Howard's on the phone. He wants his bit back.
That is coming fast and furious to all of us, to the whole of humankind.
Sorry, Fennikagami. Fennikagami said it's more than that. Suburbanites also tend to have a fixation on, quote, the traditional family, as that propaganda was directly targeted to them, and the nuclear family is wrapped up in so much fascist-adjacent shit.
So
it'd be great if Americans could chill the fuck out and read a book. Read a book? Chill out. Calm down. Read a book. Stop letting people fearmonger to you constantly, you fucking idiots. I'm so tired. Not you guys. You guys are probably fine. I'm talking to people who would never watch this show, so it's fruitless.
Playing out at the fractal level, it's playing out the archetypal level, at the galactic level.
Unlimited bonding.
And how you and I navigate this flux, this shit show, this orchestration of chaos, and the totems to which we identify and plug our life force, our attention, our plasma, that becomes a very, very...
Plasma, so hot right now. I've been working on, as you guys know, the medbed video about some of those medbed scammers that I cover sometimes. And I've noticed the constant use of plasma. It is a new buzzword, and I'm sure it's been in, these circles for a while, but as I've talked about, there's always this sort of like geologic churning of conspiracy communities where everything new is old again and everything old is new again. And there's like a variety of like things within conspiracy communities. And then every once in a while, one of the topics will come back to the top and it'll become a big topic of conversation for a while. Right now it's plasma. They're obsessed with fucking plasma. I'm sure within 6 months it'll be some other buzzword. But right now, plasma, so hot right now.
Significant matter. And a very significant question for each of us. Who are you? Who am I? Am I the living witness? Am I standing sentinel directly beneath central sun where I cast no shadow? Am I standing in pure truth?
Plasma, the state of matter, ionized gas.
Am I conducting right action in this vale of tears? Am I seeking remedy? Am I planting things? Am I making things? Am I doing things of consequence? Things that echo through the fiction of time? These are the questions which we are needing to ask ourselves, because if we fail to thread our own nature, which is incidentally the camel through the eye of the proverbial needle, is your own nature, is
The camel through the eye of the needle is a parable about rich people not getting into heaven because being a rich asshole is a sin.
The aspect of yourself that is unresolved. We are all of us having to stand in a circle, friends. This is, midsummer is almost upon us in the year 2020.
I love that movie.
25, again, Anno Domini, false light, Babylonian matrix calendar. And the reckoning is upon us. And I'm just waiting for the numbers to come on. I can see they're jumping up, which is good. This is all about a reckoning. This is all about the atonement. This is all about the absolution. This is all about revelation.
Oh, he's trying to start his own micronation, by the way. Did I say that? He's trying to do his own micronation. I get the vibe he wants to be a cult leader and run his own little society where he gets to be a tin pot dictator. I didn't mention that.
This is all about redemption, and this is all about salvation. And it will not be coming from out there. It will be coming from within.
Vibes of Chief Motto. True. Doesn't he have a compound? I thought he did, but I don't know what his current status is on that.
If you are a true believer, a true man or woman of faith, a true child of God, then you will already know that the song through the soles of your bare feet on the grass, on the soil, on the living earth is the song that should be.
Still waiting for the director's cut of Midsommar to be put on Blu-ray. Oh, this is going to piss you off. Give me a sec. They did actually put it out. I have the director's cut, but you had to order it from A24 online. This is the 4K Midsommar director's cut. And it comes in a really nice book. If anyone cares. I think this might still be available on their website. So if you're a fan of Midsommar, consider it. I think it's like $50, though. It's not cheap. This is one of their deluxe edition bullshit things. I can't show you a lot of it because there's naked pictures in here. If you've seen Midsommar, you know why. But there's a lot of naked pictures in here. And also, I'm just going to be honest, I don't think the director's cut is that much better. I think one scene that they add, the biggest scene they add is, like, kind of near a river, and I think it kind of fucks up the pacing. So, like, I'm glad I have this, but I would say I think the theatrical cut's actually better. It's better paced. The scene that they actually put in, I think it's best that they cut it. It's an interesting scene, but its place in the movie kind of, like... If you've seen Midsommar, you know there's like a gradual ramping up of the suspense and them realizing how weird these people are. The scene that's the main one that gets put back in fucks it up because all of a sudden it goes from a gradual thing to a da-da-da-da. Oh, they're really weird. Oh, back down here. Da-da-da-da-da-da. So I get why they cut it. Anyway. Still pissed off they didn't do one of those special editions for I Saw the TV Glow. It's one of my favorite movies. But no, it just got a regular Blu-ray.
Garnering your attention, not the false light coming from billboards and magazines and flickering screens. Whatever's out there, government, monotheistic religiosity, adulation.
Have I heard of the Ulysses cut for Waterworld? I've not. I like Waterworld enough. You haven't seen TV Glow yet? I'd recommend it. It's gonna hit you hard if you're trans or queer. Other people might just think it's okay, but in particular, it is a movie that very strongly represents the trans experience, in my opinion.
Worship and idolatry toward totems and symbols that have been conflated and orchestrated for thousands and thousands of years by the Lords of Time, by the archonic influence.
Time Lords? That's Doctor Who.
This is now the end of time. This is where we get to step away entirely and do a triple backward sulco into the abyss, which was ever waiting to receive.
Did I like the People's Joker? I did. I enjoyed the People's Joker. I have that on Blu-ray too. Can't believe she got away with that shit. Like, I know it's a parody, so, like, it should fall under fair use, But I can't fucking believe she got away with it. Incredible. On the DVD menu of The People's Joker, she actually just talks about, among other things, the experience of getting cease and desist letters from Warner Brothers. Pretty funny. She seems like a funny person. She also does poppers on the Blu-ray screen. She does poppers if you sit there long enough.
As the Eternal Mother. And that, friends, is what this broadcast is centering on. Countdown to Tennessee.
Have I seen the director's college documentary, A Self-Induced Hallucination? I haven't.
Tennessee, as the Cherokee would have it, in the heartland of Middle America, where I will be joined in a few days' time by a pantheon of tremendous human beings with tremendous life force and a concentrated mission and purpose to leave this world a far greater place than the one they arrived in. And I'm going to introduce, firstly, bestie Laura Eisenhower. Laura, so happy to see you.
So happy to see you, Sasha. So incredibly excited about this event. Thank you for having me.
I get the vibe that his shirt is like a vest, but it also kind of looks like a deep V that never ends, and it's like an asymptote that never quite finishes the V.
Well, it's just such a joy to have you and have your blood song with us, Laura. And your blood song is a very uniquely laden one. I mean, not only does it carry the Galactic Symphony, and you do so much in your incredible work in life to unpack and I guess to synthesize for your audience, which is a very considerable audience of good humans all around the world. They are the same people as my people. Our people are the same people. I've learned that years ago with you. So the good human, the new fellowship, the highest currency of this universe, of this galaxy, is really the constituency that we speak with and learn from and communicate to and through. And you do so much to help orchestrate the stillness in the storm. And the work you do is beautiful. And you also carry, of course, tremendous legacy with your name, Eisenhower, from your great-grandfather, and the legacy that carries forth. And
this feels love bomby. Am I crazy? Like, it's one thing to be nice to, like, your friends or people that you're having on your show, give them a nice intro, maybe compliment them a little, like, hey, they do this, this, and this. This is what they're good at. Maybe check them out. But he's just, like, going to town. Like, am I crazy? This feels, like, so thick it feels fake.
It's substantive and it's consequential. I'm also going to bring on friends. Ethan Lucas, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me again.
Just a Peach with a $1 tip says, Hannah, did you say that Murder, She Wrote was getting a new DVD release? The subreddit was talking where to find it because it's leaving Paramount. Blu-ray release, yes. This month, I want to say it's the 17th or 18th it comes out on Blu-ray, I think. You can find it on Amazon.
Well, well, I know exactly how you are because we speak every hour or two, you know. In the last couple of days, Laura, we've had just the most delightful shit show in the last 24 hours.
Oh, yeah.
As you know, we are marching on to Tennessee, New Earth, Tennessee. New Earth, Tennessee is, and this is our flag, incidentally. This is ground zero of the...
Do you think that's going to get confusing? Because it kind of sounds like Tennessee. Like, I know it's spelled different, but like, Tennessee. I think this is going to get really confusing for you, man. I'm not here to, like, yuck your yum. I guess I am. But I don't think that this is a good idea.
The Rainbow Warrior Tribe. That is the good human, the fellowship of man. That is now coming together, congregating, and we will be enjoining a consecration and proclamations.
Uses AI on the bingo card. Look at that slop.
Ceremonial event, friends. The New Earth, Tennessee.
It says "Arise, Homo Luminous" at the bottom. "Arise, Homo Luminous" is presumably the title of this piece.
Sanctuary, which we're building in the heartland of Middle America. It's a symbol, it's a totem of the coming together of the emergence of the Rainbow Warrior Tribe. We're very proud of the undertaking. We're going to be joined by many hereditary leaders and elders from around the world are coming in on the big screen with their prayers and with their blessings. Hereditary Chief Phil Lane Jr. there will be doing the fire ceremony. His Grace Bishop Rhea of Jerusalem will be helping to lead the prayers. As you can see, Daniel Brinkley over Laura's shoulder and my shoulder will be coming in with the great Chief Eagleman, Standing Eagle. Marsha Willardson, our core trustee and the center of gravity for the New Earth Coalition, a New Earth Nation Coalition, will be there. A proclamation from King Edmund of Hawaii, Chief Sabrina Whitehorse Barnett coming in with the white horses and bringing her Cherokee medicine. Dr. David Martin and Kim Martin.
I'm always very uncomfortable in the way a lot of these crunchy woo-woo people interface with indigenous communities. I feel the same way about Marcel. It always feels very co-opting. It feels very, it's like they're appropriating a sort of mystical pop cultural view people have about indigenous people and trying to use it to bolster their claims. And that's gross. Not a fan of that. It's like that episode of Saved by the Bell with Chief Running Zach. It's the name of the episode, Chief Running Zach.
Coming in with their 12 senses and their extraordinary quantum anchoring. Sky and Anahita, founders of the Regenesis.
Quantum anchoring. That means something.
New Earth Regenesis, life enhancement centers that we're developing out later this year into next year in different parts of the world. Scott McKay and the Patriot Street Fighters, Hopi Elder and
Patriot Street Fighter is a QAnon influencer, for those that do not know.
Messenger Bertram, Constitutional Sheriff Richard Mack from the Constitutional Sheriff and Police Officers Association will be joining us with other constitutional sheriffs on the ground. And of course, Ethan Lucas, who is, friends, as some of you will know, the project director for New Earth.
Of my Constitution I had in the car, because he seems to be under the impression that America is a democracy rather than a constitutional republic.
They're sovereign citizens too. Did I mention they're sovereign citizens too?
And of course, he kind of tucked his tail between his legs and scurried off the stage. He didn't want to continue that conversation because I think he got the sense that I knew a lot more about the Constitution than he did, or that I would easily be able to uncover his nonsensical communist slant that he wants to try to push.
Everyone that disagrees with me is a communist. That always turns out well. People who call everyone they don't like communists are always really nice people, right? Oh my god! Thank you for the hype train earlier, because this video is going to get demonetized for these health claims. You're not going to fucking believe this shit. You're not going to believe it, chat. You know, what? What's the newest health craze for the alt-healthers? Cigarettes. They want you to smoke cigarettes because they're claiming they're healthy.
We work with tobacco to...
Now, to be clear, there are very specific illnesses that can be treated with basically cigarettes. It's like one or two things. I don't remember what it is, but, yeah, don't do this. Don't do this unless a doctor tells you to.
Facilitate connection and to move energy through the body while we pull the energy of the tree through the system. Tobacco is like a very refined scalpel going straight to these truth moments or truth consciousness or self-realization spaces within ourselves to see what is hard for us to see. And tobacco unlocks that and then opens that space. And then in that space that's open, the tree comes through. And it's
literally just, you're just smoking a drug. That's it. It's not magic. Please stop. It's very carcinogenic.
It starts to bloom inside the body, and it starts to grow inside the body, and it starts to teach.
G-Tara says, I'd much rather they feel this way about weed. Yeah.
It's actual consciousness as it comes more through the system. Sequoia we work with is the eldest of the 3 sequoias on Earth. There's the giant sequoia, there's the coastal redwood, and then there's the metasequoia. And the metasequoia was thought to have gone extinct. So we knew of it from the fossil record, and we thought that it went extinct something like 60 million years ago. And the metasequoia kept walking south over millions of years and was found living in China in the 1940s. And only a few hundred of them were found living. So the tree's been evolving for...
Just a Peach says, the fundies are starting to believe this. So wild. Maybe this is a Sun Tzu moment. Maybe maybe we just need to let our hands up and go, yeah, guys. Oh boy, you sure do like to smoke them cigarettes. Never stop your enemy when they're in the middle of making a mistake.
For a few 100 million years, the tree reached its peak evolution in the Cretaceous period.
Hello and welcome to Elevated Conversations. In this conversation, we go...
Can I play a clip from Sleeper? Probably not.
...deep with Jordan Mockingbird. Jordan has special...
Is that his given name?
...specialized in working with the master teacher trees. Now, we've talked about...
You know, I hadn't considered having a tree be my master, but okay.
Master teacher plants, ayahuasca, mushrooms, etc. on this channel before, but
I'm so sick of the hallucinogenic drug people.
in this particular episode, we're talking about how he has learned to use ancient practices to connect in with the energies of sacred trees.
The secret ingredient is drugs.
Talks about his connection to the sequoia tree.
Overthought says, would that make them stud ents? Stewed ents? Oh, because Lord of the Rings. I get it.
Tree in particular, and the infinite wisdom that we can get from the tree and how it can actually guide us and help us to remember more of who we really are, and of course the wisdom and love and connection and oneness that the tree has that we can embody into ourselves. And he does this via retreats which are coming up, and we unpack in detail in this conversation. What do you actually do on a tree diet retreat? How does that work? What benefits you can get from it? And how do I...
Tree diet? Are you eating the trees? Like the edible tree, like cinnamon is edible and that comes from a tree. Is there other edible tree stuff?
Actually then take this home and apply it in your day-to-day life. Hope you enjoy this conversation, guys. Jordan Mockingbird. You've got me appreciating my trees more on my property already as I listen to you on...
Chitara says, calling it now. They think trees are master teachers because some of them live for centuries. Personally, I don't feel like there's any wisdom a tree could offer me that I couldn't get out of an object crafted from its flesh.
The way to gym, and while I was at gym and on the way home, we're on 10 acres and there's a lot of very tall gum trees that I've always known are beautiful, and I've loved having them around, standing there like guardians watching over us. But after listening to you for an hour, I appreciate them even more. So lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, man. I don't know the Australian trees very well, but I know that, you know, the varieties of eucalypts in Australia are very precious to the land there, as well as the old pines that are there. I think one of the oldest pines on earth is in Australia, and of course the cypresses. But I'm sure there's so many native trees in Australia I haven't met yet.
Yeah.
It's your goal to meet all trees?
Wow. I don't know what it is, but I've always been fascinated with trees. Love them. It's one of my favorite things to do. There's a place near where we live called Condalilla Falls, and there is there's the canopy, and then coming out of the canopy is like something out of Jurassic Park, you know, like it's way taller than everything else. This straight old kauri pine that the loggers couldn't get when they came through in the 18 whatever, and this old master made it, you know, and I love going to look at that, you know. It gives you tingles to think that it would have looked like that throughout the whole valley, you know.
Right.
One survived, which is beautiful for me. I love that.
Wow, that's amazing. I think the tallest recorded trees on Earth are actually gum trees that humans have ever measured.
Ah.
And they're like crazy tall, something like 400 feet.
I
And those,
got a feeling they're in Western Australia.
well, they're not, I mean, they're not that tall anymore, right?
Yeah.
That was like the end of the 1800s when they were measured before being logged.
Right.
Yeah, but there were these measurements taken of these extremely tall trees. I think now the tallest trees we know of are giant sequoias and trees in the Amazon called cebas.
Right. Wow.
But gum trees are in there.
Yes.
Awkward vibe between the two.
The heck is this? You know, and I didn't know. You know, I'd had the first cup and I
know
was
fruits
absolutely
come from
convinced
trees. I was thinking more bark and stuff.
that I'll never drink ayahuasca again for the rest of my life, right? And I went back to the mattress and mother said, but how are you going to know if this is just your really resistant ego?
Get down into these.
Okay, I'm moving on. Sorry, the hallucinogenic drug people piss me. What about this person?
Galactic trafficking and soul trafficking. Let's talk about it. Galactic trafficking and soul trafficking. Let's talk about it. To most spiritual people, this sounds totally off the wall, which says something because spirituality is pretty much off the wall. But to
man, maybe think more about that, huh?
A few of you watching this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's start with galactic trafficking. Human beings, if you didn't know, are one of the most precious resources in the known universe. We have angelic...
Whenever they say narcissistic, we're moss on a rock. We don't mean shit to anyone but ourselves. Stop it. No, we are not. We could blink out of existence tomorrow and no one would be there to notice.
DNA, 22-strand potential DNA encoded within us. We were literally made in God's image. If you're unaware of the galactic history of humanity and the fallen angelics have deteriorated their DNA, which is why they cannot fully connect.
Oh, demons have DNA? Demon-A?
Connect to source. There was something wrong, a physical and mental illness, and human beings were crafted to help the fallen angelics regain back their original DNA.
Well, that doesn't make any sense. Why would angels and demons have DNA, and why would human DNA fix it? That's also, none of that is biblical if you're like a Bible person.
Template. But as you know, that did not go the right way. They have used human beings as a food source, an energy source, and a source to help them obtain power, but without actually going back to source, without actually being back in God's kingdom. And one of the ways that they use and abuse us is galactic trafficking. Now, the fallen angels is an umbrella term. There are actually multiple different aliens, higher dimensional beings, aliens like Draco reptilians, Anunnaki, if you did.
Other dimensions beyond our own, reptilians, and aliens or demons.
No, they come from the 10th and 11th dimension. That they use human beings as a barter.
They're traveling 7 or 8 dimensions to get lunch? I don't even want to walk down the street sometimes. Are you serious?
Or trade system to other fallen angelic alien beings to harness our energy, to eat our meat, to use us as slaves, to use us as energetic slaves. I confidently say human beings might be more precious than gold to these fallen angelic alien entities. This is why so many people go missing out of nowhere on planet Earth.
No, people just go missing because they run away or they die or they get kidnapped. It's not aliens. It's not demons.
Not a trace. Don't know where they went. And some people joke and say, oh, it's an alien abduction. Yeah, it really is. Now, the second thing I mentioned is soul trafficking. I've had customers come to me through tarot readings, through spiritual healing sessions, telling me about their past life memories in which they were an alien from a different system. And the last thing they remember seeing are spaceships attacking their world, and they see aliens like Draco reptilians or certain Nordic looking type of aliens killing their kind. And one of them specifically remembers himself being dragged into this spaceship and being connected to a machine, and that's the last thing he remembers, and the next thing he knows, he ends up on Earth. He's born a human, and he's just like, how the heck did I end up a human? The real galactic
I think that every day.
history and the real spiritual truth is actually very uncomfortable. The truth doesn't care.
I've not covered, what's his name? Someone in YouTube asked if I've covered Steve Quayle. I have not.
It's good or bad.
Yeah, believe sci-fi tech exists on the bingo card.
It doesn't care that it makes you uncomfortable. The truth is the truth. And soul trafficking is real. If we have technologies like AI, quantum computers, who knows what other technologies they're hiding from us, or they...
You're stupid. I know that's not a substantive critique, but I got nothing for these people. I'm so pissed off. I hate everyone. I hate this woman. I hate every other human being on the planet.
have behind the scenes. And do you know how you can trap a soul?
Everyone's insane! Why is everyone insane?
In high school in physics class, I learned that the way to trap light is through mirrors. So have a cube that has a bunch of mirrors. So the light will infinitely bounce through the mirrors. And what is a soul? A soul is literally light code source. It is light. And if you can trap light into a mirror cube, why can't these aliens trap your soul into a mirror cube? I know a lot of you...
Everything you're saying is bullshit. If you're scamming, stop it. If you believe this, get a CAT scan.
Through seeing this video will feel something kind of like ping in your heart or your crown chakra, and you're just like, I know this happened.
Haley says, no, bad Hannah, no misanthropy. If human society wants me to stop having nothing but derision towards it, they should start behaving. Just putting it out there.
Happened to me in my past lives. This may all actually be true because through my spiritual awakening and this spiritual business that I've been doing for like 5+ years now, so many people, one after the other, come and tell me that this stuff is real. So let me know, guys, did you see this in your past life hypnosis or your Akashic records? Do you believe that soul trafficking and galactic trafficking actually is real?
No, fuck you. I hate you. I hate everyone.
Y'all know it's reptiles in charge, right?
Yeah, totally. That's real. Jitara says, skill issue. The space aliens would never breach the walls of the Temple of Paul.
Humans.
Scamming for actually saying she does this as a business. That's fair. True. Let's take a look at the bingo card. Sorry, yawn. I'm tired. Uses AI. Spurious symbology. Staggering levels of hypocrisy, vibes-based conspiracy, believe sci-fi actually exists, dimensions beyond our own, shilling scamming. Word salad. Idiot says they're a genius for me being a misanthropic asshole. Satanic. Reincarnation, past lives. Reptilians. Psyop. Illuminati, Freemasons, Cabal. Anything else? Was QAnon referenced? Someone said QAnon referenced. I don't recall that. Aliens did it for soul trapping. Oh, that would be aliens or demons. Aliens or demons. Did I mention Blu-rays today? I don't think I did. I've mentioned movie. Oh no, I did. I pulled out that thing. You're right. All right.
Y'all know it's reptiles in charge, right?
Pterodona says, where's the soul gems? Kinda hard to soul trap without them.
Non-humans. See it. Y'all know it's reptiles in charge, right? Non-humans. See, it's not some people voted. It's reptiles, lizard men in charge, okay? Now, I've wanted to talk about the Holy Spirit.
Have we had communism? Oh, everything I don't like is communism on the bingo card, because, yeah, one guy did call a bunch of stuff communism.
And get to the issue of repentance versus going against what God has intended. And what we see,
Can I see your card, Ashley?
in my opinion, because every Christian has their view, is that people are so clouded by the fear of the Lord. And
take a look at this card. Incorrectly believes evidence is self-evident. Hannah mentions Blu-rays, Illuminati Freemason. This is Marxism, socialism, aliens or demons. You win, Ashley. I'll write your name down. Oh, where the hell did he go?
and not confident in their knowledge of him
Cool.
to the extent that they're walking on eggshells. They're afraid to pick out something that might...
Oh, apparently they're doing, I didn't know about this. They're doing 35% off gift sub bundles of 5 or more. That's cool.
might have to do with
Wish they'd sent me an email about that.
a proper and good looking forward to the things
I'm Rio Bop. Randomly wins the sub.
of God. And I was looking on the internet a little while ago, and I saw this Christian who had a movie saying about revealing clothing and what the scripture says about that. And it just got me to thinking. I try to stay away from these, conflicting debates because I don't think it's helpful.
This guy's talking about skimpy clothing. Reminder, the last video we saw of this guy, he was shopping for waifu figurines. Remember? He was shopping for fucking waifu figures. That's the last we saw him, and now he's talking about women being promiscuous?
As the scripture
Not even promiscuous, just wearing things he doesn't like?
says, arguing over these things tends to upset the listeners. But I think that what we've got here is a situation where there is a profound misunderstanding that I would want to bring forward if I was going to say, okay, look, like it or not, I'm here representing the Lord. Whether you believe that I'm a true priest, whether I truly am, remains to be seen, because as I have continued to say to you guys, when the Lord shakes your hand and says, well done, my servant, in the faith of my name, then it shows that what your rhetoric was correct. So we have a lot of fog here and a lot of difference between us as far as what's true and what isn't. And what I was thinking is that if I look at myself, I'm not a common priest, that's for sure, and I never called myself that. As I said, never called myself that until God sent me an angel to tell me that I was. And just because God sends somebody an angel and there's all these miracles and interesting stuff doesn't mean that they're saved. I've seen it before where...
I should express, by the way, this guy has been doing this for years. He's like a classic lizard person, reptilian conspiracy theorist. If you've ever seen this video, almost every reptilian video will include at least some portions of this. This was his original reptilian video from a couple decades ago, maybe 15 years ago, I don't remember. But, this is huge in the conspiracy community. He has almost 100,000 subscribers, which for conspiracy theorists is pretty big. Not mainstream conspiracy like Alex Jones. But for being a small channel, almost 100,000 is a lot. So, he has a lot of followers who think he is the authority on reptilians.
They've had all these experiences. They've even been down to hell. The Lord showed it to them, yeah. Talk about some scary stuff. But even so, I looked at them and I said, Okay, and it doesn't mean because also we see there was that one story about hell where there was a pope in there, and the pope was saying, "Lord, have mercy," and Jesus was saying to him, "Yeah, well, you knew, and yet you continued in sin." So the bottom line to it is, talk is one thing, reality is something else. Okay.
This guy knows about reality. He's an expert on reptilian aliens.
So, but given the instance...
A pope is there? Oh boy, do you know a lot about the history of popes? If hell was real, a lot of popes would be there.
that I am here with and that...
Benekagami says, a thing that pisses me off with religious people is when they say, I'm not insert X thing here, that will condemn you to hell. It's you not choosing to accept the Lord. If that was true, if you believe that, then why the fuck won't you let us be happy? It's not you choosing to accept the Lord. If it was true, wait, why the fuck won't you let me be happy? Why the fuck won't you let me feel welcomed? Why are you such a judgmental prick? If all that matters is me accepting the Lord, then me being friends with LGBT people shouldn't matter. You just want to pretend you aren't cruel. Their entire worldview is framed in a way to allow them to not be cruel. They are being cruel, to be clear, but they don't think they are because they framed it in such a way that them being awful to people is saving them. It's untrue, but nonetheless, that's what they believe. They're wrong.
In general, if somebody's on the right track, they're not going to have like a wildly misleading thing. It could happen.
Johnny, thanks for the super chat on YouTube.
And I'm just saying that for someone who is generally going to be in, it's their, let's just say it was their destiny to make it in, okay? Now, I can say that I think that that's the case because of some things that I've seen in the scripture, but doesn't mean for sure, once again. But let's, for argument's sake, let's say that's the case. So I would say that in general, if you have a position on something, it's not wildly off, okay? Now, about this guy who made this movie, frankly, it was so stupid that I couldn't watch it for very long, and I basically knew what he was going to say, because I've seen this before. I don't mean to sound like, you know, I'm poo-pooing, others without even, hearing them out fully, but you can tell. I can just tell you, with experience, I listen to it. If they're stupid and boring in the beginning of their movie, you kind of know. But I know what he was going to say, and I've seen this position before. And now, don't get me wrong. I am not saying that women now should not dress modestly and live modestly.
Oh boy, what's the but? Altered Undying says, my church is a historical building, but we have a pride flag. They spray painted our building with a mixture made to cost us huge amounts of money to remove it.
And I think all good Christian women,
I'm sorry people were assholes,
and are aware of that. I mean, you don't go slinking down the street in hooker attire, okay? It's just common sense, okay? That's not what I'm talking about. Now, the thing is, the reason why it comes up for me, it's an issue, is because of what I revealed about the Holy Spirit being female. Now, I've been over this.
That's a take.
This whole thing, and I really don't want to spend time here explaining that whole thing. You can go back through my catalog, and because if I even get into it, you may think that I'm trying to avoid the issue if you haven't listened to me before, but I've gone into it spec by spec, scripture by scripture, and I'll just say this about it now. I decided this is the way I'm going to do it, okay? I am sure that this is the case, that God is a woman, a female human being that you are going to see with your eyes in the world, and she has the...
He's seen Dogma. It's Alanis Morissette.
...likeness of her mother, Jerusalem above. And the identity of the Holy Spirit is hid from the religious that haven't broken past the breakwater of the simpleton scorner to gain courage to leap into that other realm of the bravery that comes with the sureness of what you have ascertained out of God's word, especially in comparison to what's around you, but you can see what's going on. You can kind of get the scope of what's happening. And so you're not afraid to express views. And as I said, a lot of people are so unsure of their knowledge. They're so unsure of what they've read that they're walking on eggshells. Oh my God, one little thing. And in that, what we call, I was talking with somebody that I've talked about on this channel before, but I'm not going to say who because I don't want to reveal it. But bottom line to it is that that they agreed with me. This is a notable, intelligent Christian, okay? And they
can tell they're intelligent because they agreed with him. Ultra Undying says there was some benefit we got major local coverage for the raising of our new pride flag. It needed to be replaced due to the normal wear and to spread our message of acceptance and not bowing down to those bullies. Well, that's good.
agreed with me about the problem of people being prudes, okay? They're just overly, and you guys know what I'm talking about, but
you literally were trying to police what women wear earlier. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about biblical, making sense Christians, even so, maybe not understanding this. Now, again, just about the sureness of the identity of the spirit as a female. If you ask me, okay, the reasonable question, well, couldn't you be wrong? Okay. Now, my answer in this case is going to be no.
I think there's very few questions I could be asked that I would say I couldn't be wrong ever, too. That's such an interesting worldview. I don't like that.
Usually, I say if I'm not absolutely 100% sure, I'll say okay, well let's wait and see. Okay, let's wait and see. But in this case, I have studied it enough now, and I know what God is saying, and I've been with it long because it sounds.
He knows what God is saying. That's not ever been an issue for humans before, is thinking they know what God is saying. That's never landed in anything bad, I promise. Just a Peach says, I once asked my sister-in-law, why would you tell people about the Bible if not believing in it would send them to hell? She said so they could be saved, after saying they would go to heaven if they died without knowing about it. That was the end of talking religion with her. Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Goofy to me too. So much of it is years before I wanted to say anything about this at all, let alone broach it carefully and go, okay, well, I know this is really controversial, but the way it kind of looks to me, okay. So but I was afraid. I was worried about it. I mean, a godly man.
Okay, I'm gonna move on. Oh shit, this meme stock guy got into covering conspiracy theories. I forgot to fucking tell you. Shit, this guy we usually cover on meme stocks, I assume he knows meme stocks are kinda passé at this point. So he started covering conspiracy theories because he understands the demographic of his audience. So I'm gonna go use the bathroom real quick, and when we come back, we'll tackle this. While I'm gone, Chair will tell you about, Voyage into Space. It's Johnny Sacco and his giant robot. Oh, fuck. I'll be right back. I'm back. Okay, like I said before I left, this guy used to be a meme stock guy. I mean, he maybe still is. He might be in the middle of a pivot. I don't know. But he's covering conspiracy theories now, so let's check him out.
Officially even exist. A place where humans and extraterrestrials work together or battle to the death. This is the story of Dulce Base, an alleged underground facility in New Mexico where dark experiments, interspecies war, and government cover-ups all converge. You might think this sounds like pure fiction, but stay with me, because just like your ex, this story's got a body count. Woo!
I'm so tired of the worldview of the worst men possible being put on a pedestal as the ideal worldview, and everyone else is just delusional if you don't feel the way these guys do. Because they have the mentality of 12-year-old boys, and I'm real fucking tired of it.
The story begins in the late 1970s when whispers of a strange occurrence started circulating around the small town of Dulce, New Mexico. Ranchers reported seeing lights in the sky, unmarked black helicopters buzzing
fucking AI too
around, and most chilling of all, mutilated cattle. But this was just the beginning. Enter Phil Schneider, a government engineer who claimed to have worked at Dulce. Schneider didn't just have these stories, he had scars, literal battle wounds he claimed came from a fight deep underground.
The scar on his chest is a heart surgery scar. Before modern, like, microsurgery, where you could do things with much smaller incisions, this is the incision for an open heart surgery. My grandparents both had them on different sides because they had both had heart attacks back in the day, decades ago. So yeah, that's not a battle scar. That's open heart surgery. Oh, they still do? Okay.
But why would the government be hiding aliens beneath the earth?
Alted Undying says, this might be a good cleanse. It's a little cringe, but it's my church's Pi Day video. Pi Day is basically a day to teach allyship. Okay.
Hi.
You know what? I'm a little afraid to play this, actually. This is gonna sound fucking crazy. But, like, there was a thing I played on stream a while ago that was, like, a trans-positive thing. And it was, like, a little thing like this, too, where it was people making videos, and they copyright struck me. So as nice as it would be, that's ruined by someone else. Some other pride organization struck my video for playing their video, and now I'm afraid to... So I don't know what to do.
Especially in fucking New Mexico. What was so important down there?
It was a video very similar to that, too, where it's just like, you know, a nice thing, but...
that was worth dying for. According to Schneider, in 1979, a routine construction drill accidentally broke through to a previously unknown cavern. We've all been there.
I was involved in building another base inside of Dulce, New Mexico, which is Los Alamos Laboratory. It's a biological laboratory.
What they found was beyond belief. A group of tall, gray-skinned beings, armed and apparently waiting for them. Like any red-blooded American male, Schneider drew his pistol and fired immediately.
I got it! I hate these people's personalities. Like, genuinely, they're awful and obnoxious and full of themselves, and I just can't. I can't with these goddamn people.
Hey, it wasn't coming right. What do you mean?
Remember, everyone, South Park is funny, right? Are you 12 years old? South Park is so funny, guys.
Anyway, after we drilled all 4 holes, it's about
Did you know that caring about things is super awful and lame?
Drill all 4 of them. In this process, I was lowered down the basket of one of these holes, and about from me to this elderly woman here in the front was sitting a 7-foot-tall alien gray. The stench was worse than the worst garbage can you can imagine. The person was the entity was absolutely horrible. I didn't waste any time to reach for my pistol. At that time, as an engineer, I didn't have time to carry all the folderol of one of these big.
Those episodes were legit mocking these dudes too. Whoa, a right-winger that doesn't understand something making fun of them? That never happens. Cough Fight Club, cough American Psycho, cough Starship Troopers.
that all the sea spray and the yellow fruit and all the outer perimeter and inner perimeter security people carried. I carried a little Walther PPK pistol with a 9-shot clip. This is in late August of 1979. Now, you got a regular suit of clothes, you got a regular clothes on, plus you're in almost like a spacesuit environment, and you're reaching for a gun. It's not the easiest thing to do, and then to pop a clip in it and start shooting. And I killed 2 of them. Yes, they're mortal, and they do die.
I've seen Predator, I know.
However, in the process, one of them did this. All I remember is that he just kind of waved his hand in front of his chest, and the next thing I know, this blue beam hit me and just literally opened me up like a fish.
The ensuing firefight left 60 humans dead and Schneider permanently scarred. He described the...
Again, no, that's a surgery scar. As far as his lost fingers on his hand, I don't know how he lost them. All I can tell you is my grandfather also, I've talked about this before on stream, was missing fingers. He only had 3 fingers on one hand. Like this, I believe, minus... Which one was missing? Was it this one? No, this one. He had a middle, a pinky, and this. He was missing these 2 fingers because it got caught in machinery. He worked for GM, as a lot of people did in Michigan back in the day, and his hand got, like, mangled in a machine of some kind. So I don't know, that could potentially more common injuries back then because more people worked in factories and stuff.
Event as a massacre, an all-out war.
Yeah, it could be a farming accident. It could be any number of things. People lose fingers all the time.
Between human forces and extraterrestrial soldiers.
And burnt my fingers right off of me. And it was some form of electrical force because the kind of like being hit by a lightning bolt burned all my toenails off of me. Completely crispy crittered my left foot. Burnt the shoe right off of me.
Can I see your foot?
All I remember is the smoking remains, and I'm still conscious, but in and out of, I didn't remember much. And there was a Green Beret that was right behind me that risked his life. In fact,
definitely a very real Green Beret. He's not lying. Would he lie on the internet? Would he lie to these people at a conference for clout? Who does that? Fenekagami says, Hannah, you said a while ago that you feel that what we think of as evil is really just ignorance creating a worldview we don't understand. I'd like to offer an alternative. That makes up the bulk of evil. True evil is apathy. Some people just choose to not care. That's fair, and that's true. And I wasn't really... I was making a general statement. I'm not trying to belittle the concept of evil, because regardless of if someone intends to do evil or not, they are harming people and it still matters. More and more as I get older and the more of this kind of thing I see, the more I recognize that for the vast majority of people, they're really doing their best and trying. It's just that human beings are fundamentally incredibly delusional creatures. Like, everyone's delusional about one thing or another. Some people it's more severe, some people it's not. Sometimes it's more mundane and benign, sometimes it's severe and really interferes with your life. But I have never met a human being that was not delusional. I have never seen a human being that was not delusional about something. Like, that's just a fact. You borderline need to be delusional to get through the day, because the cold reality that we live in isn't hospitable to us. We kind of need to block that out. The sort of like apathy of the universe. You kind of need to be a little delusional to make it worth it getting up in the morning. You know what I mean? Anyway.
He died. But he risked his life. He shoved me back in the basket and hit the button and took me up. I wouldn't be alive talking to you today if it wasn't for him. I'm forever indebted. He lost his life. 66 Secret Service agents, Green Berets, Black Berets, crack troops lost their lives. There's a war underneath there, and I'm talking dead serious. It's been going on since that time. Since late August of 1979, our military, the Russian military, basically the militaries of the world, have been in constant conflict with the outer space alien.
But hold on. How did the government explain this massacre? Was there any evidence to back it up? Did he get...
It didn't happen. It didn't happen. That's it. He's not even good at this.
High and wander into a cave by himself. After Schneider's story became public, skeptics dismissed his tale as fabrication or delusion. Yet his
Yeah, man, he didn't provide any evidence, and him missing fingers isn't evidence that happened. Fenekagami says humans need fantasy to be human, to be where the falling angel meets the rising ape. Now that's from Hogfather. Yeah, Pratchett.
claims lined up with other reports from former military personnel and civilians who described seeing strange craft near the base. Some even have claimed to have seen humanoid figures wandering the mesa at
Look at this very real photo.
night. But why would the government invest so much in such a remote area? Because they're evil, right? Was Dulce Base just a high-level security military lab, or is it something far, far darker? An interspecies research facility. Holy sh**. Dulce Base isn't just about a firefight and a massacre. No, conspiracy theorists believe that the base houses genetic experimentation labs. Of course it does. Where extraterrestrials and human scientists work side by side, just like Jesse Pinkman and Walter White.
I'm rooting for Disney in the lawsuit they just filed, and I hate rooting for Disney, but holy shit, these AI companies need to get absolutely pummeled into the ground. They need to get shoved into a locker, proverbially.
One weird rumor claims that deep within the base, there's a nightmare hole filled with failed genetic experiments, deformed humans, and alien hybrids. I've dated a few of those. What exactly is being created down
Ha 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 ha! Women bad. Women bad. Get it? You made a joke about X earlier, and now this. Women bad. We did it. Fenekagami says humans need I read that. I read that. I literally said. Oh wait, yeah. No, I read that. Yeah. I literally said it was by Pratchett. Lawsuit. Oh, Warner Brothers and Disney are teaming up to sue which AI company? It's not OpenAI. Forget which one it is. Either way, it's good.
Schneider died under mysterious circumstances in 1996, of course, and it was alleged to be a suicide.
Mid-Journey, thank you.
Hillary Clinton, where were you? Despite his tragic end, Schneider's legacy lives on in the conspiracy circles. His story raises one critical question. Was Dulce Base just the beginning? If these experiments were real, what else was happening down there? The more we dig, the more unsettling the picture becomes. Whether or not you believe Schneider's story or not, one thing is clear. The mystery of Dulce Base refuses to be buried.
Did he have AI write this for him? It kind of feels like he has an AI write this for him. Am I crazy?
Okay, let's talk about a few things. Phil Schneider was an actual real guy. Schneider was born in 1947 in Bethesda, Maryland, and worked as a structural engineer. Schneider gained notoriety in the 1990s for his public lectures and claimed to be an involvement with covert government projects, including destruction of deep underground military bases. So this is important because it also goes into the fact that he didn't just have this crazy story. There's other verifiable proof that he's a real guy and he did work on alleged covert military projects. Now,
and people who work on covert military projects can have mental breakdowns or untreated mental illness, or they can just lie for attention after retirement. Cough, cough. Bob Lazar? Fucking liar, Bob Lazar? Don't get me started on Lazar.
Now, whether you can verify all of these things in the middle of them are true or not, the more and more we know about the government is the more and more they're hiding and lying to us, and the more that these things tend to seem to be real, especially dumbs. Those are real things. Can you believe that shit? Okay, so
not the way that conspiracy theorists talk about. There are underground military facilities, but not the network that spans the United States like conspiracy theorists think.
A real person, we know that for sure. But what about the scars? He said he got shot there and then attacked. Did that actually happen? Well, yes. He actually showed the best he could in the 90s.
Okay, yeah, again, that's a surgery scar.
His scars, whether they were real or not, who knows? But where it gets a little bit weird...
The scars and missing fingers are real. How he got them is not. Like, is he being intentionally obtuse to not immediately go, well, sure, you could be injured, but that doesn't mean aliens did it. He admitted it in court. Good. Or no, this is about, wait. Amber says, we think it was Meta AI, but they literally admitted that if they had been forced to pay licensing for the stuff they feed their LLMs, they would never have worked because it would bankrupt the whole company. and the total was like 40 billion in licensing. Isn't it crazy that they think that just lets them do whatever they want? Like, the same logic. Imagine if I was like, no, you can't convict me of robbing a bank because I needed the money to pay my bills. That's not how any of this works. Jitara says, it's very interesting duality in the alien conspiracy circles. On one side, you have people who go, oh, good God, how spooky, alien-human breeding facilities and hybrids walking among us. And then we have the I'm a star child and I'm proud of my half-alien heritage. In fact, it makes me superior to everyone else, even though I might not outright say that. I would imagine that which side of the fence you lie on depends very much on how you feel about humanity as a whole. Do you think that humanity is the apex of God's creation and that it's perfect and any change to it is like sacrilegious or evil? Then you're going to wind up on the side that thinks aliens are creepy. If you're someone who maybe thinks humans kind of suck, if you're someone who maybe wishes there was something else out there for you and you weren't a part of our species, then you're going to be more on the starseed side of things.
But you have to go into it if you believe in aliens. He said he got shot by a laser beam. Okay. He alleges that during the 1979 incident at Dulce Base in New Mexico, he was injured by a beam weapon wielded by an alien, leaving him with visible scars. He often displayed these scars during his lectures as evidence of his encounter.
Did this. All I remember is that he just kind of waved his hand in front of his chest, and the next thing I know, this blue beam hit me and just literally opened me up like a fish.
What do you think about that? In all fairness, they could be self-inflicted, but who knows? I bet Doubting Thomas said the same thing to Jesus. The moral of the story is...
and then you got a little Christianity in there, of course. Just a Peach says, or the desert is a good place to store stuff that you don't want people to mess with, or need space for.
Don't be a Doubting Thomas.
Fennikagami says these AI assholes are all Ayn Rand fans. They all see themselves as entrepreneurs, so they think they can do whatever they want because they're the ones who make society work. I don't know how we fix this. I don't think we're gonna. I think things are gonna collapse into a really bad thing for a while. I'm glad I have my Blu-rays. That's my delusion. That it'll matter. Yeah.
Thomas. Believe the story, comment below, tell me what you think, make sure you like and subscribe, and follow the channel for more deep dive into conspiracies, financial crimes, and everything else that makes you say, what the is going on in this world? Comment below, tell me what you think! Woo! That's it, tell me what you think!
Yeah, I hate him. I hate everything about him. So, that's good.
Is it possible that all the eschatology beliefs that we hold right now, is it possible that they're all wrong? Is it possible that so many things have happened in our past and
eschatology is the branch of theology that deals with like end times, the end of all things, if anyone cares.
everything has been covered up and changed, that there would be no way that we would know? Finally, the most crazy part, is it possible that there were people on the earth writing down these things as they happened before all history was hidden? Let's find out. Welcome back to the show where we make sense out of completely senseless things. Do I have a video for y'all today? For a while now, I've been talking about how the Geneva Bible footnotes hold the secret to all hidden
Oh, he's got a corkboard. That's good. That makes him look stable.
Eschatology forever. Why is that? It's because people who wrote the footnotes to the Geneva Bible were aware of things that couldn't even cross our mind. It'd be impossible for them, especially living in the 21st century. So what I did for this video is I translated entire chapters of the Geneva Bible footnotes to our modern day English so we'd understand.
Did you do that, or did you have AI do that? Because there's a pretty big difference. Phoenix 2250, thanks for 33 months with Prime.
And my goodness, I don't think most people are ready for what it says. You have to remember that we live in a time where everything has been changed. Everything we've been taught is all wrong, and it's so wrong. Yeah, there's a fly around here. It's driving me crazy. But it's just...
What if it's not wrong? What if your worldview is just more constructed in order to soothe your ego and, like, sense of self than to actually reflect the real world? And that conflict between your worldview and the world discomforts you in some ways. So instead of recognizing, oh, I need to change my worldview to fit the world, you go, oh, everyone's lying to me. My worldview must be real. It's gotta be that people are hiding the truth.
Ridiculous how wrong that we have been taught. And even preachers in the 1900s, like early 1900s, were teaching things that our minds could not even comprehend just because how much we have been lied to. Without further ado, let's get started. This video might be hard to stomach if you're new to this information, but I just want you to know it does get better and there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So we're going to start in Revelations 13, looking at the footnotes written by John Calvin in 1560. Now, of course, they want us to believe that John Calvin's a Calvinist and he believes this and that and this. I think they're lying about all of these people, by the way.
I'm pretty sure Calvin was kind of definitionally a Calvinist, because the people that did Calvinism based it on his whatever, man.
Completely, because John Calvin and Martin Luther, they were against Romans dictatorship, or a new Romans dictatorship, we'll get into that later, over the church. There's a man by the name of Pope Sylvester II. This man is one of the most hidden people in history, and the reason
You know about him, so apparently not.
Why?
They had to get rid of him because the Pope kept trying to chase birds all around Sylvester. Get it? Looney Tunes? No, sorry. I'm too tired for jokes.
Is he did one of the biggest things in history. He has been charged and accused of using divination to work with Satan himself. But unless you watch this video, that will not make sense to you. But I guarantee it's a big deal. But Sylvester wanted to reinstall Rome again over the church, which all the Protestants were against. Alright, now let's get started. Now remember, these are his thoughts on these prophetic verses that he's speaking of as they were in the past, and he's going to describe what every single one of them are. Now let's start at the beginning of Revelation chapter 13. I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast, 7 heads and 10 horns. We hear this all the time in modern eschatology and prophecy, being the UN or the US or blah blah blah, all these different things. Let's see what he says. Here is a depiction of the Roman Empire, which standeth in cruelty and tyranny. He's telling us exactly what
he says. Tyranny weird.
It was the Roman Empire, having 10 horns, 7 heads.
Hold on, Dying says, I noticed he left out Henry VIII as an important church
There
founder.
be, meaning,
huh? Not a fan of the Anglicans, apparently.
Rome.
He just straight up refuses to acknowledge it.
Because it was first governed by 7 kingdoms of emperors. It was first governed by 7 kingdoms of emperors after Nero, and is compared to about 7 mountains. The 7 mountains, like Rome, Italy, around that area, the 7. Upon his horns were 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. Excerpt C.
He's doing a lot of vocal fry that's annoying me. I don't know if anyone else has noticed, but now you will.
Which signified many princes. Many princes. Just wait until you see how much different this gets than what we have been taught nowadays. And at a beast I saw like a leopard, the feet of a bear, and his mouth as a lion. Excerpt D. By these beasts are finished by the Macedonians, the Persians, the Chaldeans, who the Romans overcame. Wait a minute. Now Daniel 9, Daniel 7, all these crazy prophetic things that didn't really make sense to us. It's so funny because Calvin's saying the same things. Excerpt D, that by these beasts are finished. They were finished by the Macedonians, the Persians, Chaldeans, which the Romans overcame. That's weird, huh? Now Daniel's making sense. The dragon gave him, Rome, his authority and power. Excerpt E. The devil gave Rome, which was...
Does he not know Rome is the reason Christianity is so widespread? A lot of Christians, at least like ones that are this kind of Christian, evangelicals or charismatics or anything that's like quite woo-woo, They have a really interesting conception of Rome. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't like Rome. I wouldn't want to live in Rome. Rome was a horrifying society in which you could just be born into slavery, and they just decided that's what you are. It's fucked up. It's fucked up, man. Rome was a fucked up place. They conquered people. They crucified people. It was a fucked up place. But in particular, there's some Christians who just genuinely view ancient Rome as like Satan's society. Like, they genuinely think that Rome is like, that was like Satan. It was like Sodom and Gomorrah. It was like just constant evil of Satan all the time. They have a very ahistoric view of Rome, is what I'm saying. Like, I get why early Christians didn't like Rome, because, you know, Rome didn't like them, but, eventually that changed once the Roman Emperor adopted Christianity as the official state religion. But they still kind of kept a weird animosity towards Rome, so, you know. Stone Corbell says, I was just thinking about this the other day. How come to biblical literalists the crazy things in Revelation, like the dragon with 10 horns and 7 heads, and the Whore of Babylon riding a beast, are symbolic, but the Tower of Babel and Noah's Ark and such literally happened? That's a good question. I think it's because it was written as a dream. Like, the author of Revelation describes it as a dream he is having that's a prophecy. So I would guess that, but other than that, I don't know. Screaming at the Radio, thanks for 48 months.
It was the beast rising out the sea with the 10 horns and the 7 heads. And I saw one of it, this part gets insane, just wait. And I saw one of his heads that were wounded to death, but his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wandered after the beast. Excerpt F. This is understood of Nero, who had the deadly wound that was healed. There was a myth with Nero, it was, I can't pronounce it right, Nero Rendivinus, right? And basically, if you Google this, you'll find out that all these Romans thought Nero, the emperor, was going to come back alive, and he was reign again. And they all thought that. But there is nothing on Google nor any browser that talks about him coming back. Because it was completely hidden. Because Nero, as you're about to find a little bit later, Nero had a deadly wound. He took a sword to himself in the head, and then he was actually healed, and he came back, and you'll see this in a minute. So the beast that had the deadly wound, or the head that saw one of his heads wounded to death but was healed, and all the world wandered after this beast. This may be understood of Nero, who moved to first persecution against the church, and after slew himself. So the family of the Caesars ended in him. Excerpt G. So the empire...
Okay. I think that's enough of him reading the Bible. Oh, this guy's weird.
What's up, everybody? This is JP. I'm happy to be here to bring you this information and details of past missions that I have talked.
This is a super soldier guy that claims to be a former super soldier.
Talked with Dr. Michael Sala.
How's Wretched Recess doing? We can take a look at how she's doing next.
In U.S. Army Insider Missions, Volume 1, Chapter 4, page number 57, I talk about a friend of mine called Lovin. I used to walk to work from my house. I didn't have no car. I used to walk through this big parking lot with office buildings.
Is this JP? It is.
Early in the morning. Everybody's closed. There's no cars in the parking. I used to go through there because it was a shortcut to go to my work.
How do you guys know about this guy? I've not covered him. Are you cheating on me with another stream?
You know, so every time I went past there, you know, I used to love looking at the stars, no light pollution. It was beautiful. So I used to like taking that shortcut. But one day, I saw an egg-shaped ship parked. And I looked at it, and it turned like halfway down, it turned like a metallic white. And I'm like, what the heck is that? And then I see an Indian looking guy. Yeah, I'm talking about Lovint. And he's waving his hand. And I'm like waving back, and I fixed my eyes, and I was having the same feeling as when I was having
Rad
the
Tom cover it. That makes sense.
experience.
All right. I only wanted you to see he's like into weird alien stuff. I want you to see the incredible video when he. This is, I think, the first time he went to a conference where people like knew who he was and liked him from his conspiracy content. Look at this shit. Oh, he wears a helmet all the time. I asked Trey about this. This is apparently a paintball or like a, what's the other thing? Not paintball. You shoot guns, but they're not deadly. Airsoft. It's like a mask for paintball or airsoft. Look at him! The world's lamest LARP. Watch this, look at this. All right, man, come on, quit milking it. The crowd's not that big.
Beautiful. I am powerful. I am loved. I am amazing. I am worth everything. I will bring the truth. I will bring the love. I am worth it. I am here. Akuria Mate. Akuria Mate. Akuria Mate. Akuria Mate. Love, gratitude. I love you guys so much. You guys are so special. Don't forget that.
What a guy. Phyllis Filler says, founded. Is this a cleanse? Let me look. No, this is a song by someone that I'll get copyright struck for. Oh, you want to see the funniest version of enlightened centrism ever?
Our universe is a better place when we have different people believing in different things. Imagine a world where it's like uniform and every single one of us believed in exactly the same way of living life. And that to me screams like
Oh, what was he selling? Books. He sells books.
totalitarianism. Is the earth flat or is it round? It is neither and it is both. If you're a
It literally cannot be both. They are mutually exclusive. Either it's flat or it's round. And it's round.
child in school, instead of seeing the spherical version, they're seeing a cube, and that cube is then implanting in their mind. The more we measure it as our hypothesis of it being a cube and we want to confirm it.
Okay, but it's not a cube. We've measured. It's a sphere.
The more those measurements will prove that it's a cube, we can be living on the same plane with two opposing differences that seem to be in contradiction with one another. I want to war against each other to prove that no, their opinion of it, their facts, all their data is right. And
okay, but objective reality exists. In material reality, there are things that are subjective that we can debate about and have different opinions on, but then there are objective material facts. Does this pipe exist? Yes, because it's here. You know what I mean? You could debate if the pipe is here, but you'd be wrong if you said no. You know what I mean? You can't have an opinion on that. You can be wrong, but you can't really have an opinion.
Because they want to cement that reality even further, into their consciousness, and they want to imprint that reality onto other minds so it becomes even more tangibly flat than a sphere version. So I don't believe that, for instance, star systems are out there somewhere. They're all right here as I'm speaking now. But
are the star systems in the room with us right now?
I'm just in a different channel. Like the TV stations, you can have hundreds, thousands of TV stations, and you're in that world as your attention is given to it. But you could also change channels into another one. We're in a different bandwidth, and usually it's the human body that's keeping consciousness, which is very airy and flighty.
No, it's not. That doesn't mean anything. Stop saying vacuous statements to sound deep.
It's containing universal laws and physics have been, applied to it, and really they are just thought forms. And we learn these laws of physics in school, and the more we believe in them, the more power they hold over us. Whereas,
like Warhammer orcs?
If we look at, I guess, magical people or witches in the past, they realize that the laws that we sort of worship about our reality, gravity, for instance.
Historically, they didn't know about gravity, at least not like in the terms we understand it. They didn't understand it mathematically. They didn't understand it as a force prior to Newton.
It can be overridden. We choose in human form to cut the cords off our multidimensionality.
Okay, I choose right now to be in a dimension where I have $10 million. My bank account says we're still in the same reality. Sorry.
Because we want to experience almost the arduous nature of our journeys. If I can teleport to Miami now, I've missed out on the journey there, even just like the experience of going to an airport, the experience of flying on a plane. The potency of the thrill is higher when you've waited for something, when you've gone on a journey before it, even if it is a bit uncomfortable, even if it is a bit boring. Our universe is a better place.
Jesus, people are ridiculous. Alright. Oh yeah, I said we were going to do Wretched Recess, didn't I? Let's find Wretched's channel. She's around here somewhere. There she is. Alright, let's see what she's up to.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm sorry I didn't mean to leave you hanging for so long. It was a very busy week. Hope everyone is doing great. I'm sorry the Big Blue Marble video was so depressing, so let's have a little more fun today.
We skipped, I didn't show you guys that video. It's not that interesting. She's just talking about an old show, and she doesn't have anything interesting to say about it.
But it seems like you guys enjoyed it anyways. If you watched it, I have something pretty comical to share with you to start off with. So if you watched my Sears Peacock chair video, we talked about this Peacock chair and Peacock symbolism basically being some satanic stuff. Speaking of satanic Peacock symbolism, we got trolled really hard.
This is from Blades of Glory, the John Cryer Will Ferrell vehicle from the early 2000s.
in the movie Blades of Glory, if you've ever seen that, with John Heder and
Oh, Heder, not Cryer. I said John Cryer. John Heder, sorry.
Will Ferrell. It's like an ice skating comedy. It basically starts off with this very fabulous peacock costume, but I was just like, oh my gosh, I guess once you notice something, like you'll start seeing it everywhere, or like once you learn the meaning of the symbolism,
Delusion of reference. I learned this term recently, delusion of reference. It's the kind of delusion where someone thinks a secret message is being delivered via a symbol or some other thing, or they think someone is secretly communicating with them. Delusion of reference.
It'll jump out.
We see that a lot on this show, obviously.
Out at you, but I thought I would share that because how blatant and obvious and in our face is that. Here's another shot of him in the costume. Are those... Okay, I thought those were like eyes for a second.
Did you just get tricked by peacock patterns? That's the point. They're supposed to look like eyes. Did you just get tricked by the peacock pattern? Well, there it is. Do I even need to talk more? She got tricked by a fucking peacock pattern. I don't... She's... Huh.
Be surprised. All right, so I think this was a re-upload from my original channel, this Wait, Are These Pedo Bears video. In this video, I talked about how I had the realization that the Grateful Dead, like dancing bears on those t-shirts and everything, and on the bumper stickers, I used to see those like way more frequently. But it occurred to me that those...
Yeah, you used to see them more frequently because Grateful Dead fans are, on average, older now than they used to be, because the Grateful Dead was like a popular band in the 70s, so like their groupies and fans aged up. And some of them probably died, and there's just fewer of them now because they're not as popular of a band. I don't even know if their members are still alive. I don't know.
Those look just like...
I've never been a Deadhead myself.
The little pedo bear like illustration or whatever it is.
Creeps me out how she sees pedophilia everywhere. These people really scare me.
That was the pedo bear like mascot, and these are the...
It's not, they're just bears.
Grateful Dead dancing bears, looking to me exactly like pedo bear. Pedo bear, Grateful Dead bears.
They're just both bears doing things with their arms. They're both in like a walking motion. That's about it.
Like, why would...
Yeah, pedo bear was like an early 2000s meme. Very of its era.
Would a rock band have these teddy bears? You know what I mean? Like that...
Because the Grateful Dead were often associated with drug use, so seeing bears, in particular bears of a variety of colors, it's like a drug thing. It's drugs. It's supposed to be like hallucinogenic drugs.
Never made sense to me. So I'm not making any bold claims, but I am saying...
You are.
I think it's more than a coincidence. And
I'm not making any bold claims. I just think that one of the biggest rock bands of the 20th century are secretly sending pedophile symbols through their logos. Do you hear yourself?
I've definitely read in multiple sources that teddy bears are associated with like pedo stuff. Obviously, with pedo bear being a mascot. Now,
again, that was a meme. A really, really, like, unfortunate edgelord meme.
If you watch this video, it's pretty short. I talk about a thing called Alice Day that was, like, super disturbing, which is April 25th, and it's a day for, like, basically predators to go out on the prowl.
That sounds like she fell for like an email forward. That sounds like the kind of thing your great-grandma would be like, watch out, I got this email. Said this thing was coming. Don't know if you know this. It's actually a bad idea to have a holiday where you plan to kidnap people because everyone would know on that day that people are going to kidnap.
And they were confirming the fact that a lot of these people use pedo bear as a way to like identify each other, or like basically just.
Empress Felina says, for some reason this woman infuriates me more than most of the other people we cover. I can give you a reason why. Because it's multifaceted. On the one hand, she's talking about these horrible things. Child abuse. She's incredibly transphobic. She's incredibly, like, homophobic, I think. But on the other hand, she's also incredibly flippant about all of it. Now, if it were me, for instance, if I genuinely believed that the world was as full of pedophiles as this woman thinks, and don't get me wrong, the world has plenty of predators in it, I'm not delusional about that, believe me, I know. But, like, she sees them everywhere. She thinks that it's institutionalized to the point that, like, every famous logo is signaling this to people. Like, within her own worldview, she should be taking this seriously, but she doesn't. And that's annoying. So not only is she, like, belittling and making light of very real things, child abuse, but, like, within her own framework, she's not even taking it seriously. Like, if you believed children were being, like, treated the way she thinks they are all the time, everywhere, wouldn't you be mad? Why would you be making these jokes? Why would you be giggling about it? She has the attitude of, like, a 15-year-old. It's pathetic. Like, it's ridiculous. You can tell this has nothing to do with concern for children, and instead feeling like she's superior for knowing a secret. Like, it's incredibly immature.
Use it as a mascot, like I said. Okay, so
She also says things like, I'm not bullying or I'm not prejudiced, as if that excuses her bullying and prejudice. Yeah.
On that video, Elfin21, hope you don't mind me sharing your comment, said, I have noticed that Ralph Lauren's menswear has many shirts with bears on them. And I'm glad you left that comment because I had noticed that within the last year too. And that's kind of been on like the back burner. I kind of keep a list of ideas of stuff I want to talk about. And that was definitely one of them. So after I read this comment, I was like, oh my gosh, all right, it's time to make that video. Here is a lovely t-shirt of the Grateful Dead. I'm sorry, the picture's a little blurry. Yeah, these dancing pedo bears, in my opinion, are making...
They're bears, and that's not an opinion. That's a psychotic episode.
The pedo swirl. So that's all, to me, very symbolic. This is the pedo swirl.
It's not. This is a thing that I think was a 4chan hoax, though I don't remember the actual origin. I'm gonna guess 4chan hoax or something similar. It was basically a fake email that went around claiming that these certain symbols were being used in the pedophile community. They're not. It was one of those like 4chan fake things. You can't find this sourced anywhere real. This was not actually sent out to law enforcement. It's literally shit people made up to fuck with people with mental illness. People are fucked up.
Of course, symbols that these people use to signal their preferences. This is the little boy one. So yeah, that Grateful Dead shirt is extremely shady in my opinion. And Pedo Bear has a Wikipedia page if you'd like to learn more about that. So here's the only Ralph Lauren like polo logo that I can recall ever seeing. Why would a like classy and kind of expensive and okay, so the only like Ralph Lauren polo logo that I ever remember is the polo, like the polo player logo, right? I don't ever remember seeing any teddy bear stuff when I was younger, but and I'm like, is this like a Mandela effect thing? They're saying, I'll show you this teddy bear stuff in just a second with Ralph Lauren, but they're saying it started in the 90s. I do not ever remember seeing that in like the polo section of the department store.
Did you spend a lot of time in the men's polo section growing up?
You know, like back in the 90s, this is pre-online shopping. Like you walked into the department store, there was the polo section. I don't ever remember.
People are aware how stores work. I don't think you need to explain that.
Seeing teddy bear stuff personally, but they're saying it started in the 90s. So a little bit about Ralph Lauren here.
I thought it was Ralph Lauren. Am I crazy? I always thought it was pronounced Loren. That's how I've always heard it.
Look at what it says.
I'm good, Ash. How are you doing?
This designer, developed his brand around the image of an elite American lifestyle. You know, it's preppy. It's very nice. Nothing about Ralph Lauren polo screams teddy bears to me. So I find it very interesting that there's an entire Ralph Lauren teddy bear collection, not just one or two.
Do I have to Google this and find, like, why is Ralph Lauren associated with bears? The story of the Ralph Lauren polo bear. The bear was born when Ralph Lauren was gifted a Richard Steiff teddy bear wearing a full-tailored Ralph Lauren outfit. He was blown away by the thought that he had gone into the bear and wanted to make it available to customers. The teddy bear, named Preppy Bear, was initially produced in a limited run of 200 bears sold in Madison Avenue flagship stores. The bear sold out over a weekend. There you go. There's an answer, and it became a thing. It's like asking, like, Torrid, Torrid's a clothing store I like, and they have a thing with, skulls. And I don't know the story behind this either, but, like, it's very common that Torrid clothing will have, like, skull patterns on it. Plenty of clothing brands have a thing that's associated with it. It's not a conspiracy. Where did she go?
2 or 3 items, or like, I can understand maybe a teddy bear on a sweater once in a while, like maybe at the holidays or like winter, like a polar bear or something. But they have a whole Ralph Lauren teddy bear, it's like a whole collection, like this you see here, it says bear shop. And it's very baffling unless it's what. So, like, overall, as a brand, like, I've always really liked polo stuff. I like the preppy look. I think it's like a nice, crisp, like, just a really good look.
So you dated only douchebags in the 80s and 90s is what I'm getting from this?
Teddy bears, however, are like super juvenile. I personally...
You literally transvestigate Fred Flintstone. You want to talk about juvenile?
Don't even like the way this bear looks. I don't think it's cute. I don't think it belongs on polo stuff. That
Okay, that's your opinion. That doesn't make it nefarious just because you don't like it.
That is my personal opinion. I mean, what is the point of this? The only item I kind of sort of liked is this hoodie because I'm a sucker for anything with different color sleeves. I think that's pretty cute, except the teddy bear. The teddy bear...
Just a peach with $1 tip says, teddy bears were big in the 90s. They were on all the mom gear. Yeah, Beanie Babies probably helped.
This hoodie for me. I like the pink and white stripes. I don't like the teddy bear. Like, do you guys... If I saw somebody wearing this, like, I don't even think... Like, I wouldn't like it.
Okay, not everyone is dressing to your sensibilities. Get fucked. Like, what do you want? You think everyone dresses for your like? Go fuck yourself. What are you talking about?
Maybe I could understand if this were like
This feels like the opposite of when men are like, did you know that men actually like it better when you don't wear makeup? Like, bitch, who said this was for you? What are you talking about, narcissistic asshole?
and like I'm not sure if this is a man or a woman. We're in the men's
transphobia, transvestigation on the bingo card
section. I say the word loosely, men's. This does not look like a man to me.
Literally, he just has long hair. He just has long hair. What are you talking about? I'm telling you, this lady's face blind. She's face blind and doesn't know it, so she's very confused.
I can understand maybe if this were on a kids collection. Believe it or not, there are more, from what I'm seeing on the different websites. Like I went on Macy's, I went on the actual Ralph Lauren website. There is way more of these men's teddy bear stuff than there is for the kids. The kids' outfits are, some of them are super cute. I have to show you a couple just because they made me smile. But look, this looks like something you would buy at like Kmart, not Ralph Lauren.
Is Ralph Lauren stuff even still like a high-end brand? I genuinely don't know. Like, you know how sometimes brands will start as relatively prestige, and then as they lose popularity, they'll start lowering the quality and prices to hit more of a lower market demographic? I don't know if that's happened to Ralph Lauren, but also, like, people like teddy bears. It's not a conspiracy. Aldrin Undying says, I wonder if she's trying to signal that she's not what she thinks, or to signal that she's not what she thinks things stand for. Probably to some extent.
Right? I don't even think Kmart exists anymore, but I'm just saying.
It doesn't.
More of like a
Sears bought Kmart and then they both crashed.
Superstore type of an item than from a classy brand that sells, you know, like...
No offense, but I think your idea of fashion is stuck in the 90s, like a lot of your mentality. And I'm not saying that as like some cheap, you know, jab. I genuinely feel like a lot of her mentality is stuck in the 90s, just like my mentality, because of my age, is kind of stuck in the 2010s, right? I think you're going to kind of get stuck in a little bit, and it's good to be open and try to, like, continue to change, but you get busy as an adult. So sometimes, for some things, especially stuff you don't pay as much attention to as an adult, like current fashion trends or current music or even current movies, you might not be as up on, so your idea of those things might freeze in a certain formative decade for you, and then things keep moving on, and all of a sudden you're blindsided, you know? It happens. That's fine. You're just an adult.
Pretty, like, moderately expensive clothes. This is ugly, okay? It's ugly. I don't like this at all. So who does this stuff appeal to? I don't think this is appealing to...
Plenty of people. You're not the target demographic. Hot take. This brand for young men is not trying to target you. Older woman. Middle-aged woman.
Many women out there. I don't think this is appealing to many, like, say, somebody, you know, I don't think it's appealing to, like, other grown men.
It's cute. It's funny. If I saw a dude wearing that, I'd think it was cute. I'd think it was kind of like shows that the person doesn't take themselves too seriously, maybe. Shows that they're kind of like have, you know, a sense of humor, or at least like aren't afraid of looking a little silly. It's not a bad thing.
The only people that would probably like this are children, maybe?
Genuinely insane to me that she can't imagine a scenario in which people would see this and go like, oh, that's cute. Like, I don't get it.
I don't, you know, I'm sure you know where I'm going with that. Anything I'm expressing are my opinions only. I am not making any claims. I am simply stating my opinions and my observations that teddy bears on polo stuff seems a bit ridiculous. I don't understand it.
If I don't understand something, it must be nefarious. That's the conspiratorial worldview, just in a nutshell, isn't it? I don't understand it, so it's scary and threatening and must be something conspiring to hurt me.
And I don't like it. So, like, for example, right?
You know, when I don't like something, I usually just, like, turn it off. I don't spend my time on the internet needlessly comment. Oh, wait. No, that doesn't work. That's exactly what I do for a living. Normal people, when they don't like something, don't spend their time needlessly commentating about it on the internet. They'll just shut it off and go find something else to do. Doing this is not a healthy coping mechanism. I'm wearing fucking cat ears.
Now, Ralph Lauren has a Hamptons collection. I think there's like some American flag stuff I saw. You know, like, look at this stuff. This is like pulled together, nice, classy outfits. Does anything about Ralph Lauren polos scream ugly teddy bear to you? I just don't understand why there's a whole teddy bear shop. Like I said, I could understand.
She could have Googled it.
Stand maybe a sweater or a shirt here and there, but to have a whole collection seems a bit, like, the word I was searching for was excessive. I was trying to say like extensive, excessive. It seems a bit excessive. When I think of polo, like, here's some nice shit, right? Like this.
Ma'am, that's your opinion. That's fine. For me, I find this incredibly less appealing than the other shirt. Like, if I saw a dude in this, I'd be like, this guy's a pretentious asshole who's probably committed several statutory crimes.
That's a nice outfit. There was another brand.
It seems like I get the vibe that when she watched The Karate Kid as a child, she rooted for Johnny Lawrence. You know what I mean? Who the fuck grew up in the 80s and 90s and is into preppy shit? Every piece of media was screaming at you that these people are awful.
I'm really not familiar with this brand. I think they're like an expensive brand that had like a teddy bear scandal. Let me show you.
Just a peach with the dollar tips is I think they had more of these bears in the 90s. My mom got one second hand. Also, teddy bears are seen as rich kid toys in the past. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
What to know about the Balenciaga, I believe this is pronounced. They had this ad campaign with children holding teddy bears with like bondage type outfits. And that's bad enough to be holding any stuffed animal.
Yeah, that's not something I would do. That's a snafu, but it's more just cringe and trying to be edgy than anything nefarious. That just feels like someone really, really was asleep at the wheel making decisions. It's also not like the biggest deal in the world. These kids don't know what that shit is. But like optically, yeah, you don't want to do that.
Like this kind of like, you know, that's like extremely inappropriate for kids. But then when you know the meaning of the teddy bear, it just makes it so much worse.
Hey, Robo
This
Twilight.
kid is like, why am I holding this fucking ugly bear bag?
I mean, they probably are thinking that because their parent is probably an awful showbiz parent that's forcing them into modeling. Ugh.
Like, this is terrible. Terrible.
Wow, she didn't transvestigate the children. I'm almost impressed. Holy shit. Look at that! Wow! She didn't transvestigate even one of those kids. That's impressive for her.
Here's an article about pedophiles use that Alice Day for victim networking, and see, they parade teddy bear symbols around, so...
Fennikagami says, oh lady, do you watch Shoe on Head? She's the one who started that conspiracy. Oh, Jesus. She was the goddamn worst. I'm really glad I'm not in the same community as her anymore. Holy fuck, her and Greg, just the worst. Ugh.
Yeah. The other day I made a post. Oh my gosh, I've always loved this movie, The Red Balloon, where it's like this little boy and he's running through Paris chasing a red balloon. And now I'm like, oh my God, this is why I said like dismantle my childhood even further, because I don't have any solid proof of this, but I'm beginning to think red balloons are possibly, perhaps, linked with pedo stuff.
Like, she doesn't even have a reason. She's looking for a reason to believe the thing she wants to believe. Can you see this? Am I crazy? Do you see this? Like, she's doing the thing. She is literally shopping for evidence of a thing she wants to believe. How does this is the opposite of how it is supposed to work. You remain blank, and then evidence will inform you. You don't go searching for evidence of a thing you want to be true. You're gonna delude yourself. What the fucking fuck? Human brains are broken. Human brains are broken.
I haven't seen anybody
I wish the dolphins the best of luck. I really do.
say that, but the movie It is a little like suspicious with the red balloons and some of the stuff that happens in that movie, and of course
it's supposed to be scary because it's an innocent object like a red balloon, but it's nefarious because it's being produced by Pennywise, the multi-dimensional evil fear-eating being.
It's all about kids and their fears, and this just so happens to be a red balloon. This next part might be triggering to some people.
Oh, cool.
I found some extremely dark, like, illustrations and photos on, I'm on Shutterstock. I don't recommend doing this.
What level of mental illness is choosing to go on Shutterstock and searching pedophilia? What the fuck? Oh.
But when I was Googling the other stuff, I saw the link for Shutterstock that had these images, and I don't recommend typing in pedophilia into Shutterstock, but I just happened to
what are you doing? What are you doing?
Stumble across this, and
what are you doing? Like, I'm mad. I'm so confused.
Look, I think some, like, pedos made these pictures because, like, who else would make them? Like, who else would know? And
who else would know that pedophiles exist? What are you talking about?
It's literally
everyone.
A grown-ass man handing...
She's too hyper-focused on pedophilia. Oh, it creeps me the fuck out. It creeps me the fuck out. I have the same feeling. I don't know why she's so obsessed with this.
A child a red balloon. And this is when things like that tied everything together for me. Where I'm, like, pretty sure my red balloon thing, like, I think I'm on the right track with that.
I will agree, these are questionable stock images. Jesus Christ.
And you can see they made pictures, lots of...
I do understand this. Like, I understand having stock images, like, that are like this, that are like child abuse, but like the cartoon criminal with the teddy bear,
Pictures here with teddy bears.
It's a little too kitschy. It's a little too jokey.
Who would...
Oh! Yeah, see? No, this doesn't work. It's jokey. You have him in like a cartoon burglar outfit, but all he's burgling is this child's asshole. Ugh! Hannah regrets what she just said on the bingo card.
Make this. Like, there's so many creepy things on here. Another teddy bear. This is literally disgusting. Another teddy bear one. So I didn't see too much red balloon stuff, but that...
Gitara says, Shu's pivot to trad girl at the entrance of the red pill alt-right pipeline was definitely insane to watch, especially after she spent, like, all of Greg's relevancy talking down on anyone who didn't have a very public sub-dom relationship with their partner.
That one, was enough. That red balloons have a deeper meaning than what we know. And I'd like to say that this video is in no way to bash Ralph Lauren Polo. It's a brand that I like. I've always liked it. I like the clothes. I like the whole preppy vibe and, like, just classic looks. But the teddy bear stuff is very suspicious to me. I have a favorite model on this website, and it's this kid. If you go look at the kids' clothes, like the outfits on Ralph Lauren, it's cuteness overload. It really is. Look how cute he is. Yeah, I love the kids' outfits. They put very few kids in this teddy bear stuff. You would think that's where the teddy bear collection would be, like for the kids. But
I'm sorry, what did she say? I missed it. I was thinking about something.
Outfits. Sorry. They put very few kids in this teddy bear stuff. You would think that's where the teddy bear collection would be, like for the kids. But it's way more so geared for the adults from what I can see. This kid is just adorable. Oh my gosh. Let's end on a happy note. I'm just going to show you some cute outfits here.
Fenny Kagami says, this reminds me about when I Love Kim Possible a Lot made her video accusing Saberspark of SA, and she did it in an hour-long video riddled with jokes and memes that instantly destroyed the credibility of the accusations. Then it came out that she coached the accuser to give a better testimony, then she blackmailed her own source, then everyone found out she's still friends with Chris Chan. Anyway, my point is, many people on the internet throw around SA accusations without any seriousness. Yeah. Stone Corbell says, I think Ralph Lauren is putting secret pedo messages in their advertising, but I still like them. What are you talking about, lady?
Oh my gosh, I love it. See what I mean? These kids look more pulled together than the adult clothes. Look how cute that is. Oh my God, I freaking love this kid. Cute. There are some beautiful children's clothes here, and like I said, so much nicer than that teddy bear crap. Like, this is just, Polo has some beautiful, beautiful clothing. All right, well, I feel like I've proven my point here. Let me know your thoughts. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.
Wow, she needs
Take care.
All of the help.
And talk with you soon. Bye-bye.
She is deranged. Wow. What else do we have?
Person called God, because we are not gods. It's not fitting to call us gods. We are high.
This is the key. Now let me break this down for you. Let me break this fucking thing down for you. Okay, so here's how existence works. We got multiple different layers or levels of density. Okay, and they correspond with different states of consciousness. The wider you, or the further you're removed from the physical, the more you become aware of. Your consciousness, meaning your potential, lies beyond any demonic force. Okay. Now there's a secret, which means higher levels affect lower levels. You are capable of going into higher levels than any demon could. Okay, they're for the most part limited to the lower three realms, which is the etheric, partially the physical too, the etheric realm, the astral, and the mental. Okay, beyond that,
oh, that makes sense, Jojo the Snake Lady.
You exist in your divine core, but no demon exists. Okay, so all this fucking worship that people fall into, okay, is total BS. Okay, any religion, any system, any demon is an egregore.
What is he talking about? What's going on there? Why did that go to 0?
Planes really descend manifest. And this is the world is all that your soul. I mentioned higher.
To them do I think.
What is past the astral realm? Are there politics among those higher densities? Okay, so a good way to think about this is, like I mentioned, at the very top, you could say pure, unconditioned consciousness. We call that your soul. Kether, whatever. At the very bottom is manifest reality, dense manifest reality. And this is the world that you see around you. Trees, idiots, arguing.
Sorry, no, if I was writing a book of Earth, like, yeah, what's on Earth? Things, my book report, things I saw on Earth. Trees, idiots, Coca-Cola, like...
Sex and all that stuff down here, the dense manifest expression of reality. And then you got the unmanifest. And the levels in between of soul gradually descending in density and vibration and becoming a manifested thing. Well, those steps of downgrading are the different planes, right? So you got the manifest dimension, you got the etheric plane, then you got the astral plane, then what's known as the mental plane, and then the causal plane, and then finally the soul level. Now, depending on where your study is, you might see 5 different levels, you might see 7. But
oh, so
the
it's
general
all
rule
bullshit.
of thumb is that
It's all bullshit then. Good to know.
what marks the difference of these different planes is how consciousness moves about. The physical plane, consciousness moves about through a physical vessel, and it moves in 6 directions: up, down, left, right, forward, back,
What about diagonal?
and through time. So I guess you could say
Sneaky, sis.
7. But the higher up you go, it's almost as if the number of directions of movement are decreased. And
What do you mean they're decreased? If they're higher dimensions, they should have more degrees of freedom in terms of movement. What are you talking about?
astral plane and the etheric plane, the movement is simply expansion and contraction. Expansion and contraction. And the mental plane, you can imagine how movement of consciousness is focus based from one point or another point instantaneously. So you asked the question, are there politics among those other densities? Well, yes and no, right? Yes, as far
wow, a non-answer.
as there are, because there are ways of movement, there are quote unquote rules, right? Simply descriptions of how consciousness are moving. But politics, as far as like good guy, bad guy, I like this, I don't like this, all that is mainly
I understood that reference, Phoenix.
Manifest physical.
You are my density. I mean, destiny.
Dimension where human beings are, because we feel separated. The higher up you go, the more that there is a realization that there is only one existence, only one consciousness. The higher up you go, the more that that realization is evident. It's not very evident down here. Hence why everyone believes that we're also separate and different. Hence why everyone believes that we are these physical bodies.
Okay, first of all, most people don't believe that. Most people on the earth have some sort of religious belief. They aren't all deistic, but most of them in one shape or form are dualistic in the sense that they separate the human body, the physical, from some sort of spirit or soul, an essence that is you, that is separate from the physical. So the idea that most people are materialist is just nonsense. I wish they were. I'm a materialist. I think we're just our physical bodies, but that's not the norm.
In truth, what you actually are is unmanifest. And I mean that literally, you are not manifest. What you think you are is, you think that you're something that's manifest. You think you're something that can be described. But what you actually are is unmanifest. It cannot be described because
that doesn't make any sense. You can't define something by its inability to be defined. That's defining it.
It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It's not a thing that can be described.
It's a cop-out. Yeah, look at this fucking hole, though. Yeah.
It's your girl, VK Johannem. So far, all attempts at sleep have failed. So I'm going to film, and then I'm going to try again. I've been wanting to make this video for a couple days. We're going to discuss different aspects of your soul, of your consciousness. It is your...
Alright, I'm gonna move on. I don't think we need to hear this guy.
Is demon. Mon is moon, meaning demon is demon. Mon is moon, meaning emotion. D
Incorrect word origin on the bingo card.
means negative. A demon is a negative emotion, which possess your mind, body, and spirit. You have a physical and an astral body. Constant negative thoughts and emotions create astral energy, which latch onto your body. These entities are created by your own thought forms. You feed them by giving them mental and emotional energy. Every addiction you have is an astral entity that you have created. The astral plane is the screen you have in your mind that allows
What does my astral addiction to cheese look like?
you to vision an apple, and you have a whole body there. The more thoughts and emotions that you give to these entities, the stronger impact they have over your physical body. I, Magi Nation, you are a magician bringing thoughts and emotions into physical reality. You've been doing magic your whole life. Thoughts and emotions are more powerful than you think. They are the commands that bring things into physical reality.
You know, this is astral travel. You got to work on astral travel. And you will see this astral plane, this fourth dimension. And there are 3 different sections to this astral plane.
Ooh, the makeup is starting to irritate my puffy, irritated skin. Can you see where it's starting to redden up? Ooh, I can feel it swelling.
Higher, middle, or lower. So yes, there is a kind of a heaven and hell. And a mid-god. Heaven being the higher vibrational entities manifesting higher vibrational thought forms existing there. The lower vibrational thought forms existing in the astral plane. But these thought forms are beings. You can create these beings. They're called elementals. Okay? If you entertain specific thoughts for long enough, this will plant a seed and it will grow. If you keep, so for example, you have a bad
I just wanted to show the LARPing that this guy is doing. This is the guy that was convicted of really bad crimes back in the 90s against children, and now he's a QAnon guy and a big Trump supporter. And he's constantly trying to talk about all those pedophiles in the deep state, which is of course ironic considering what he was convicted of in the 90s. So anyway, here's this fucking loser. I don't think he's coping with Trump's win very well, if that makes sense.
Hello, this is Dave from Net4 Truth USA.
He's so legitimate. Look at his fucking gear. He's tactical as fuck.
Inglorious Patriots. It is April 29th, 2020.
No, he is a Trump supporter. He is a Trump supporter. I'm saying despite Trump's win, it hasn't made him happy. In fact, he seems more upset than ever.
5. And the time now is 21.
These people are never happy.
46 hours Eastern.
They just want to be upset.
Time here in beautiful southern North Carolina. Haven't done a video in a while because I've been busy remodeling the house. I talked to my good friend Stony Stone the other night about what is all going on.
He's very upset that the FBI said Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. Because Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, which is a sad sentence, came out and said, like, hey, Epstein killed himself, even though prior to that, prior to being in the federal government, he was out on conspiracy podcasts saying the opposite, so.
Political arena in this country. And let me tell you something. We are going to blow up the spot this week on this Jeffrey Epstein bullshit. We've been waiting for the Epstein files for a long, long time. And we're about to go nuclear with this. Let me tell you a little short story. As I've been watching videos on my feed for the last 2 weeks, every time I hear one of these creators put reference to Jeffrey Epstein or any of his crimes on their platform, I immediately post a comment, which I will show you right here on the screen, and I will leave a link in the description, exactly what I left in the comments. I'd had to have done that over the past 2 weeks at least 300 or 400 times. Not a one of them, nobody,
I'm speeding him up because he talks quiet,
has covered this or even looked into it. Now, whether that's by design or whether that's failure to read their comments, I have not a clue. But Stony Stone and I are going to take this from the beginning, and we are going to blow up the spot on these bullshit stories that have been propagated about Jeffrey Epstein. I'm trying to get all my tactical gear off here.
Why were you wearing it?
This is not something that is going to be covered by the news or probably by any citizen journalist, for that matter. But the evidence we have prove, or at least indicates very strongly, that Jeffrey Epstein is still alive. And with witnesses that have supposed to have been paid off and gone their way, ending up dead in car accidents and by suicide, leaves a lot of suspicion as to just exactly
how do they not see it? We are constantly blinding ourselves to uncomfortable realities. It's just that what realities are uncomfortable to us is relative to the person.
What the fuck is going on. There are some people on those files and on those tapes that are going to cause some havoc. The FBI has the tapes, has all the surveillance videos that was taken out of his house and out of his ranch in New Mexico and out of his island. Where the fuck is all this shit? Why the hell is not serious charges being filed? Oh, the guy's dead. Well, he's not dead.
He is dead, but I would agree that it certainly seems, I guess I don't know the whole story, seems like there'd be more high-profile, like, convictions happening, but there's not, so whatever.
He's not dead.
Everything's fucked. Rich people get away with whatever they want, including hurting children. Surprise!
I guarantee you he ain't dead. I guarantee you he ain't dead. Just like I told you about the Tarmac meeting back in 2015 that everybody called bullshit on for a long...
Yeah, famous person is still alive on the bingo card.
Long time. Oh, that's bullshit. Oh, that's bullshit. Oh, that's bullshit. Did it turn out to be true? It turned out to be true. In Benghazi, we blew up the spot on Benghazi. Nothing ever came of that.
Is he still talking about that shit?
There are some really serious forces at work here. And we're going to bring this little Jeffrey Epstein thing up, and we're going to show you. And we're going to show you how he is still alive. I have personal experience with dead motherfuckers in prison, okay? They don't just cut you down when you commit suicide in the Hoosgow. But that's another story. Stay tuned to this channel, because as soon as we can get our schedules together, which is going to probably be this week, we are going to blow the spot up on this bullshit story that nobody is daring to cover.
Fuck you, man. Again, he was convicted of crimes against, I believe, a 6-year-old girl, so... fuck you. Oh, what else? Do we have any short ones before we call it a night? That's 6 minutes. What's that? Oh, no, that's that guy again.
Something much larger and stranger is going to be activated by this dome that we're not paying attention to. And due to this law enforcement source I talked to, and basically an ex-military source, we need to see every layer of
We
this
already covered recess near us.
and investigate it to know what's going to happen larger in our population.
Golden Dome is a bold and aggressive approach to hurry up and protect the homeland from our adversaries.
This is stupid and won't work and is an even stupider version of the Star Wars program. Fun fact, the thing in Israel functions because Israel is a very small part of, like, portion of land, relatively speaking, and it's being shot with, like, rockets that are, like, this, not ICBMs.
I looked deeper and found that they need to use a specific type of force in order to activate this dome. First, we need to listen to E4 specialist Terry, who talked to me and led me down a different, deeper rabbit hole about this dome.
Allowing this concoction of toxic chemicals
Chemtrails on the bingo card.
to break the blood barrier, brain barrier, and deactivate the pineal gland. And it's the most sensitive part of our nervous system. And they know this. If your nervous system
That's not true.
is damaged, that causes all kinds of problems.
Your pineal gland is not the most sensitive part of your nervous system.
It's all also connected to the Project Bluebeam and
Project Bluebeam on the bingo card.
what they call the space fence.
What?
And
Space
the
fence?
space fence, I don't know if you heard of that.
No, I haven't. What's that?
It's United States Air Force and Lockheed Martin built this for, say it was for space debris, but it'll have the capability to surveil the entire planet. And this is why Trump's talking about them spending $500 billion for AI infrastructure, because this is going to be like Skynet and Terminator. It's designed to operate in a low orbit, designed to be one interconnected machine run by AI interacting with cell towers to create a giant wireless network that's manipulated through ionization of the atmosphere, which is what they're doing when they spray chemtrails. It also enhances holographic imagery.
Also funny that the music suddenly cut off. It sounds less serious without the music.
A la Bluebeam. And they ionize it, the atmosphere, with HAARP.
Question is, how would this dome actually be deployed, and what will happen when they activate the? We'll get to that in a second. But when I look at how will it be deployed, will we see it? Will it be in broad day? Well, I look at the predictive programming, and maybe they'll be doing something like this.
Predictive programming on the bingo card. Clip from the Simpsons movie.
And it's not just about protecting us from adversaries, like they say. They're going to use it for this as well.
I so often use a rocket ship to fly to my destinations. How will I travel now?
And what people haven't thought about is what's going to happen once our atmosphere is closed off by a dome. Before we get to the full plan that'll be activating.
Oh, they think that the dome is like a literal physical dome. Oh my god. I just understood what his issue. He thinks it's like a physical dome.
The sky is being talked about nowhere else. The guy who originally wanted this plan, let's look at what he said. a climate controlled dome.
Yeah, that's not what they're talking about, my guy.
This opens up the field to the electromagnetic force they're going to be using for the Golden Dome. A law enforcement source told me that Homeland
A law enforcement source is so funny.
Security had a meeting. And in this meeting, they said they didn't need to quarantine us. They could just put giant domes over certain parts of the cities and close it off at a radius to where they wanted to trap people based off of what they deemed fit. This interaction could come from the internal electromagnetic spectrum inside of the domes that they release. Now, I know some of you thinking like, oh, this is outrageous. What is he talking about? And other you like, well,
it's a good impression.
I can see that happening. Let's show you though, because again, they were doing stuff pre-scripted, but we have photo evidence that you can see right here.
Yes, that's a tent, basically. That's like a structure that has, like, rigid piping that they then, like, put a, excuse me, canvas-like thing over or whatever material. It's like a pop-up structure. It's not the thing you're talking about. Just because this is the shape of a dome doesn't mean it's the same thing.
So that pretty much confirms what my law enforcement source said.
Okay, no it doesn't though, you fucking idiot. Okay, I gotta be done. I gotta be done. I'm mad. I'm just mad. And I just hate everyone. So alright, thanks everyone for hanging out and watching Tinfoil with me. Truly, we're a doomed species, and it's for the best. So let's see who we're gonna raid on Twitch. Love you too, Mr. Blast. Doon, 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 doon.
Juice. And he is so excited.
Alright. Alright, I'll see y'all later. Have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm not sure what we'll be doing tomorrow, but it will be something. So I'll see you then. Have a great night, everyone. Bye.